Why do we always listen?
Keeler's always in the know.
It makes me want to call him
And tell him where to go. And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started.
It's time to get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Well, good morning. And it's rather mild, breezy out there, but that's going to change. It's going to get cold, right? Cold?
Yeah, by Sunday, we're going to be looking at 13 degrees.
Love
and
it.
Saturday is going to be around 40, so that is almost a 30-degree drop.
It is interesting how they kept extending this warmer weather through the week. I mean, it was supposed to end on Tuesday, and then it moved to Wednesday, and then Thursday, and now Saturday. So we've lost a lot of that snow, which has probably helped a lot of rooftops down here, but in the North Country, I'm not sure how the rain actually just made it even heavier. So
As Farmer Ben says, it acts like a sponge, and it just slurps it all up and makes it even
does.
heavier.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, good morning, Davey. You're all right in there? Everything's good. Friday morning, our free money question of the day. What are we going to be looking at later this morning?
$300.
Man, you're just knocking it out of the park, and we have given away twice this week, $450 so far, and we could add even more to that coming up today. Wow. On that golf story, I was thinking golf clubs when I first read the story, but it's from a golf club.
Golf club. Isn't it funny?
Facility, our wonderful English language, right?
You golf with the golf club, and then you go to the golf club to have a pint with the boys.
I guess you do, or girls these days,
True.
for the record. So we don't know how much was allegedly stolen there.
No, they didn't say in the report, but if it's third-degree grand larceny, it was a sizable amount.
Davey, here's what you can say. Just answer it and just tell him, I can't do it today. I've already told him when it hits and the story is there, we're going to investigate it. We're going to do it. You can tell him. All right? There's nothing else for me to discuss on call number 19 this morning.
Paparazzi.
There is it's so good to have Davey in there to do all that. Look at him. Let's see if we can listen in this.
That's what Don't yell at me. Don't yell at me. I'm just relaying the message.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. I guess we
Yeah,
could.
tell him.
Relaying the message, so don't get mouthy with me.
Okay.
He's tough. He's
Yeah.
good. He's good. Dude, let me tell you, when Davey's got to be tough, he is good. Boom.
He is good, but
How'd that go, Davey? I wasn't able to hear anything.
You don't get mouthy with me, man. 'Cause
No.
I'll fire right back, as you can see.
I did see it. And to me, we've just had the greatest part of the show all day long. It's over. We might as well go home. I just did. Calm down. Deep breath. Deep breath.
As you can see, I'm feeling better.
You are.
But you don't want to tick me off.
No. And now you can handle it any way you want. You've said what you're saying, and that's the end of it. I just don't want to get into it. But, man, you don't mess with Davey. You don't mess with Davey.
Yeah.
If Jim Croce were around, he'd be writing a song about him.
you would think if poking the bear would be Bill Keeler, it's Davey. You
It's
think
Davey.
anger from
Ooh,
inside
yeah.
out, the flames come up the head, and
baby.
you need to duck and hit the ground and pray.
We have a big weekend going on here. Comets are home tonight, and then tomorrow night, big one, the Pioneers play for a chance to play in the UCHC championship game once again. And hopefully we fill the odd. You okay in there? You're handling. You're doing well. You're doing well. Deep breaths. Deep breaths.
How about during the commercial break, I get you a Reese's Pieces?
You do
No
not.
candy at the moment.
You do not mess with Davey.
I'm sorry about that. Out.
No.
Why are you apologizing?
You got to defend your territory. According to WKTV, multiple cats and dogs were seized during an animal abuse case in Otsego County, according to New York State Police. They responded to a residence in the town of Springfield on Route 80. Two separate families are now facing possible animal abuse charges. About
sad.
20 members of the SPCA were called in to help contain 8 dogs and at least 11 cats. Are you a cat, dog?
I'm a both.
You're a both. Okay.
Porque no es las dos.
The State Department of Environmental Conservation is investigating the potential threat of disease to humans or other animals in the area, according to the SPCA there. The head director of the SPCA, Susquehanna's SPCA, Stacey Haynes. We've spoken with her before. They did operate with an effort to spay and neuter, and a lot of them are spayed and neutered, but nobody has been able to get to the bottom of the diseases that are rampant and the cats in the community. So they must be very, as we said, 8 dogs, 11 cats, all diseased. She
just
says
breaks my heart.
we've probably taken in 50 or so from those 3 houses already, which is why one day we looked at the numbers and said, we have a problem. So 50 previously, another 8 dogs and 11 cats currently. Oh, boy.
How do they keep getting them?
Haynes said that it's important to have professionals working on the case. She said she's spoken to many people, 20, in fact, she says, that she talked about that were out there. That includes her paid staff trying to seize the dogs and cats. Hopefully those dogs and cats, their medical issues will be corrected and
They'll get adopted.
They will be adopted out. So that is the game plan there. Story up on our website, and you can check it out. It is former state senator Ray Meyer, and Ray wrote an op-ed, and it is. Okay. Well, I don't know what. I'm not. First of all, I'm not doing that, and I don't know what I said. That's all. So good luck with that. Where was I? This is getting annoying, really annoying. I'm just saying. I'm trying to ignore it.
Let's put it on ice.
Putting the blinders on.
Let's Taylor Swift and shake it off.
Ray Meyer has an op-ed that he put. I believe it's in some newspapers locally, and we have a story on it as well, basically sounding the alarm on the President Trump, Elon Musk job cuts and really trying to reduce the government's workforce by 10%. The problem with that is, as long as you're reducing the workforce in Maryland, we're not going to pay much attention to it. But when we start having our own workforce knocked down, it does become an issue. And I think that's like anything. It's tax cuts, tax increases. You feel free to increase their taxes, just don't increase mine. Or program cuts. Take away anything I don't use, anything I'm not involved with, but don't touch the program I use. That's how we tend to be. But in this case, jobs at DFAS and Rome Labs, we have had rallies for, we have fought, we've gone through the BRAC Commission, all of that, and the base closure, and then reinvented Griffiths and worked so hard to get these jobs and keep these jobs here. We are in jeopardy of losing them. You can check out the full editorial up on our website at WIBX950.com. And it does look like, while there may be a bit of a snag, it does look like the corrections officers may have reached some sort of an agreement, right?
Yes. It's tentative. There could be that snag, but it seems that all parties that were involved in negotiations are satisfied with the conditions.
So the New York State Correctional Officers and Police Benevolent Association and the New York Department of Corrections, they have come to an agreement, at least on paper right now. They announced a consent award after negotiations ended last night. Several aspects that still need to be dealt with, but we'll see where this goes. Hopefully, what we have here is some concessions the state is going to be making to assist these men and women who are overworked, mandated overworked, and they're mandated the overtime, and the safety concerns, because there really are some really terrible safety concerns inside these jails and prisons. And I think it's like anything else, when you keep the hot air tight in the pressure cooker, at some point it's going to explode. And I think we've already seen that in some very bad ways. So something has to be done. Hopefully they've negotiated the point where there will be some concessions made, and everybody can get back to work.
Yes, this is going to continue because they say that because the strike was unauthorized by the union, they have to individually go to the corrections officers that are striking and have them individually and separately agree to the new conditions before returning to work.
And today is apparently this has been organized mainly online. It's grassroots, but today is a no shopping economic blackout day.
Oh, boy.
And I love these because I don't think they make any sense. I need a new toaster. I was going today to get the new toaster, but decided I wasn't going to go to the big box store to buy the new toaster because today I'm going to make them suffer. We're not going to spend any money there today.
You're going to stick it to them.
Now, I also need a new lawnmower. So I was going to get that on Saturday. Now I'm just going to get the toaster and the lawnmower on Saturday. Boy, we really made them suffer, didn't we?
You sure showed them.
I mean, this is no different. We're all businesses in these big box stores, these big major national chains are already used to this. And here's why we're already used to it. We live in the Northeast. When there's a snowstorm, you can hear pin drops inside the stores. I mean, you could hear a pin drop. and it just happens. So, boy, we had a bad day of business on Wednesday because of that snowstorm. Thursday wasn't all that good, but, man, did we sell everything out on Friday. That's all this is. I don't know what they really feel like this accomplishes.
It's the idea that one day is going to really make Jeff Bezos say this.
Game over, man.
Yeah.
Game over.
Yeah, that's game over.
Yeah.
No. No, it's not. And I just think it's a giant waste.
It's almost like virtue signaling, like when you're wearing that blue bracelet or a safety pin or putting a black box on your Instagram. It's hollow. It doesn't hurt you as a consumer either to say, well, I'm not going to shop today. I'll shop tomorrow.
Well, I mean, and we've done this with gasoline, too. We won't buy gas on Wednesday. We'll get the gas on Thursday. None of this makes any difference in their bottom line. It is a giant waste. But people are into it. They feel like they're doing the right thing. Bishop Grimes, this is yet another Catholic school that's announced they are closing. The Syracuse area Bishop Grimes opened in 1966. The diocese has decided that enrollment is down, and they're going to merge, and that school will end up closing. House Republicans increasingly confident that they can avoid a government shutdown without any Democratic support. It is quite interesting, and I did not expect to see the House, Mike Johnson, be able to put this whole thing together and get this through the House as quickly as he did. Which has got to give them a little bit of confidence going forward. On the line right now, Ryan Schmelz with Fox News Radio. Ryan, what do we know to start the end of the week off?
Well, Donald Trump just weighed in on the government funding battle, so there's that.
Okay, what is where is he? This is a Truth Social post?
Yeah, Truth Social post came down probably about 6 o'clock a.m. or so. He said, as usual, sleepy Joe Biden left us a total mess. The budget from last year is still not done. We are working very hard with the House and Senate to pass a clean, temporary government funding bill, CR, to the end of September. Let's get it done.
Okay, and so far, Ryan, House members really seem to step in line when it comes to even if it's a short statement and a directive from President Trump.
And what was interesting, you have Andy Harris, who's the Freedom Caucus chairman, to say yesterday to me, well, if President Trump weighs in on the government funding battle, that'll get probably 95% of the Republican conference on board. The question is, how do you get the other 5% on board, right?
Right.
But from what we understand from how negotiations are going with the government funding package is that The one thing Democrats are asking for, at least for their side of the story, is they want provisions in there that ensure that President Trump will, quote, follow the law. A lot of different ways that you can interpret that because they're kind of, bland on the specifics. But essentially what that sounds like it means is that they want assurances that President Trump allows the government, whatever they pass, to go where it's supposed to go. And not, cut the funding off, not redirect funding somewhere else. And so you have Republicans, on the other hand, saying that Democrats are trying to push these ideas that would limit the executive powers of President Trump. So it's created this little back and forth that's going on with both sides, who are essentially accusing the other one of trying to put poison pills in there.
Yeah, I mean, there've been, again, we were just talking about a shutdown of sorts in today's blackout big business day, where what sense does it make? What do you really accomplish if you don't buy your stuff today, but you buy it tomorrow? The same thing with these government shutdowns, right? I mean, Democrats are fighting so hard with all of these job cuts and people losing their jobs. What do you think is going to happen if you shut down the government?
Yeah. No doubt about that. A lot of government workers don't get paid. There's other services that they're not able to provide for a temporary period of time. And Democrats have been trying to shed the spotlight on, well, what are we going to do without, these IRS agents? What are we going to do about these workers who deal with this program? And a lot of those offices get shuttered for whatever period of time there is during at least a temporary government shutdown. And that's very true.
I do wonder what these cuts of the IRS are going to do when it comes to people getting their refunds. Tax season is here, and the deadline is not too far away. It will be interesting to see if everything flows smoothly with fewer employees. That's going to be something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, and that was something I think that Democrats were trying to argue when the IRS is being targeted like this. And Republicans have kind of gone after the IRS most of the time whenever there's an opportunity to cut, government funding, whatever they're trying to push for some type of spending cut in there. Usually the first place they target is the IRS. That was how they wanted to pay for aid to Israel last Congress. It's how they wanted to pay for additional security detail for President Trump and Vice President Harris. At least that was what one lawmaker proposed. But the Democrats constantly argue that a lot of the additional funding that's been passed, whether it's under President Biden or previous presidents, has been to deal with issues like customer service shortfalls or, going after some of the big names or wealthy Americans and not lower income Americans. But Republicans will say, well, if you look at the IRS data, it's usually the poor communities that get audited the most, not the rich ones.
Yeah. All right, interesting stuff, Ryan. It's Friday. Enjoy the weekend.
Hey, sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks so much. And I don't know if you've been watching yesterday. We were just seeing yesterday that they were reporting in the Gene Hackman case. There was no foul play, right? No more than do I get out of this place. A bulletin comes across that said police say there is foul play or it is suspicious, but there's no evidence of foul play. They're calling it suspicious. And here's what we find out today. The bodies of Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy may have been there for a week or two.
That's so sad.
Mummified when they were found on Wednesday. Authorities are still trying to piece together exactly what they say they believe happened, but they still don't have answers. Here is the 911 call that came down when the bodies were discovered.
Santa Fe 911, what is it? Emergency?
I think we just found one deceased person inside a house. Please send somebody really quick. I'm the caretaker for the subdivision. I'm going to bring him up here.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me speak with the paramedics.
Thank you. Damn.
Is the patient a male or a female?
A female and a male, probably. I don't know, sir. Just send somebody up here real quick.
Are they awake?
I have no idea.
Are they breathing?
I have no idea. I'm not inside the house. It's locked. I can't go in. But I see them. She's laying down on a floor from the window.
Do they appear to be awake or alert?
No.
Are they moving at all?
No, dude. They're not moving. Just send somebody up here really quick.
You don't have like the actual address of the house of where this person lives?
I have no idea. There's no address. There's a reason why for that.
Okay.
That is, I mean, it's disturbing, right? I can just imagine.
It gives you goosebumps, but it also gives you sick.
The weirdest, this so far is the weirdest case. I do not even get it. No. It's going to be really amazing when we find out what happened, or will we never find out? Rob this morning, show's very boring today. Could that guy call back? Rob, no. What are you doing, man? A quick break. We'll talk to Willie Waffle coming up. Streaming into the weekend. And I want to get Willie's take on this Gene Hackman thing, which is really just terrible. We'll get to it on a Friday morning coming up.
It's time to stop letting road conditions dictate your journey. Nokian Tires all-weather tires are versatile enough for summer heat, spring rain, and winter snow, allowing you to forget the forecast, so you can focus on the road ahead, not the road below. Forget the forecast with a year-round tire approved for winter use. Find Nokian Tires all-weather tires at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, with locations in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Learn more at tallmanstire.com.
Are you a CD-PAP home care user or caregiver? Now's the time to switch to PPL and ensure a smooth transition. It's fast and easy. Over the phone, online, at an in-person or virtual session, or with a CD-PAP facilitator. Call PPL at 833-247-5346. That's 833-247-5346. Visit pplfirst.com/CDPAP. Register today. A message from the New York State Health Department.
Good morning. It is 28 degrees in downtown Utica. Your WIBX news time is 6:40. Here is your news update. I'm Megan Stone. The long-awaited Jeffrey Epstein documents released by the DOJ Thursday provide little new information. About 200 pages in the document dump contain flight logs and contact lists that include hundreds of associates, most already made public. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi said in a letter to FBI Director Kash Patel Thursday that she had received only 200 pages of documents. She's demanding the full and complete Epstein files and that are delivered to her office by 8 a.m. today. Epstein hanged himself in jail after being charged with sex trafficking of minors in Florida and New York. ICE Buffalo has announced the arrest of a Mexican national convicted of rape in 2012. Officials say 44-year-old Alejandro Salazar was detained upon his release from Clinton Correctional Facility on February 21st. Salazar had been convicted of first-degree rape over 12 years ago and was sentenced to 15 years in prison. He's currently being held at Buffalo Federal Detention Facility in Batavia. The oldest known Holocaust survivor has died. Rose Gironi passed away in New York's nursing home on Monday at the age of 113. She endured both German and Japanese oppression during World War II and afterwards moved to the United States. She worked as a knitting instructor in New York and eventually opened her own store in Queens. Gironi told the USC Shoah Foundation that she always tried to find the good even in tragic events and that living through the Holocaust made her unafraid to do anything and everything. There are around 245,000 survivors of the Holocaust still alive today. 28 degrees in downtown Utica. Your news time is 6:41 here on WIBX. Here is your full weather forecast.
Winter weather advisory with a clipper coming in later kicks in, and that's going to be for northern Oneida County and points north. Get up into the North Country, up on the Tug Hill Plateau and the Adirondacks. Could be 3 to 6 inches of snow. Here locally, snow showers scattered around, especially later today into this evening. Could be an inch or two in and around the area. We'll get some mixing with rain tonight, which should hold down on the totals. Rain and snow showers tomorrow becoming all snow, maybe a light accumulation. I'm Ray Stachik at the Weather Channel, WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
All right, we have mostly cloudy skies right now and 28 degrees heading up into the mid-30s and then warming up again tomorrow and then very cold Sunday. Good times. Winter is not over, by the way. Just a little reminder. I think Ray reminded us earlier in the week. 6:42, Willie Waffle is coming up next to WIBX.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Hi, I'm Anthony Constantino, running for Congress in the upcoming special election to succeed Elise Stefanik, and I'm sounding the alarm about the escalating prison violence in New York State. Due to the HALT Act, our corrections officers no longer have tools to discipline prison violence. As a result, violence is surging and everyone is suffering. Violence on both guards and inmates is up 300% and growing. Call your elected representatives and demand they protect our officers by repealing the HALT Act immediately. I'm Anthony Constantino, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Constantino for Congress.
Mattress Express's closeout sale on brand new leftover inventory and floor models. Right now, buy a king or queen and get a free adjustable base. Take up to 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers and no credit check payment plans available as well.
BME Company Business Machines and Equipment has been delivering office solutions for businesses in upstate New York for over 30 years. Their success comes from finding the right document management strategies and software solutions for streamlining workflows. Simply put, BME provides fast, reliable service at the best value to keep your business running smoothly. Through BME's strategic partnership with Hummel's Office Plus, they distribute supplies for just about every machine in your office at a great price. BME welcomes the opportunity to serve your business, selling, leasing, and service in Canon and Kyocera devices, as well as FP mailing solutions. An important part of BME's culture is supporting the communities they're fortunate to work in, and BME recognizes that support is one reason for their success. The future of business in BME's area is encouraging, and the company is grateful to be a part of that growth. Call BME Company at 315-574-8200 or visit BMEcompany.com. BME Company Office Solutions. Made simple.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it. But not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
This is actual footage of Bill Keeler doing a radio show on WIBX. Sadly, his career was found in a heavily wooded area. If you know the person or persons who ended the radio career of Bill Keeler, please tell them thanks on behalf of the people of Central New York.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, good morning. On the line right now, the one and only Willie Waffle. And Willie with streaming and movies and everything. Oh, and it's Oscar weekend, too. Willie, good morning.
Well, good morning. Hey, as a matter of fact, there was a piece of news I wanted to give you last week that I didn't. I'm going to drop it really quick here.
Okay.
I know you were a really big fan of the TV show Jury Duty that was on Freevee TV. Amazon Prime has picked up a season 2 of Jury Duty. There's going to be another season.
I can't wait.
Oh, I thought you'd be more excited than that. Okay.
I don't have that. I did. That was Jury Duty, the one where
with James Marsden.
Actually, I did like that.
Oh, see,
you were spot on. I'm like, Jury Duty. I don't remember that. But that is where you have a bunch of actors, and one member of the jury doesn't know they're actors, right?
Yes.
That's really, and they say crazy stuff, and the jury that's not in on it is just sitting there like, holy moly,
can't believe what he's going through. Yeah.
Nuts. All right, so when does that start? Are they going to be making it?
They're going to be making it. So it was
right.
just kind of picked up last week. So it'll take a little bit of time.
Okay. All right. Love it. Can we just talk a little bit about the latest movie called The Mummy? Probably too soon. They're now saying that the bodies of Gene Hackman and his wife were mummified.
Yeah, this story.
This is weird.
A lot of twists and turns yesterday.
Very quickly.
Very, very quickly. I mean, the original story was that, and a lot of this, I mean, nobody's making anything up, but, what happened was some workers on the property where they live in like a gated community, and one of the workers, looked in the window and saw that they were not alive anymore.
Yeah.
And so the police came in, and the original premise and the original story that the police had promoted was that, hey, this is not foul play. There were a lot of people who started to assume that maybe it was carbon monoxide poisoning, that, you know, his wife and Gene Hackman and one of the family dogs were all deceased. And then later in the day, the police said, actually, there's no proof that there's a gas leak anywhere. And they started revealing more information that it looks like they may have been there for a couple of weeks. That Gene Hackman had looked like he had fallen in one room.
Yeah.
In another room, the wife looked like she was surrounded by pills, and the family dog was deceased as well. And the thing that really kind of is throwing everybody off and making them wonder what happened, the police revealed that the door to the house was ajar.
I know,
yeah. It doesn't look like anybody broke in, but the door was open. And so what happened? How did this go down?
TMZ is reporting this morning, and I got to tell you, TMZ has become the place where anything celebrity, I go there first. Because, I mean, normally it used to be like AP. It's like Associated Press is the authority. Well, now that they're not allowed in the Oval Office anymore, I go to TMZ. TMZ had updates to this story all day yesterday, and they had everything first. They're reporting that a longtime friend of Gene Hackman says that she put him on this crazy strict diet. And it was kind of a weird situation. And when you look, I don't know if you saw the pictures that TMZ had of the last time Gene Hackman and his wife were in public.
Very thin.
You couldn't even recognize him. I mean, it was so thin. And
then the other thing that got me,
I hope that diet was a fat diet, eating a lot of fat, because that's what he needed.
Well, and you know, one of the daughters. This is another thing that really got me. You know, she did an interview with one of the British papers talking about how she had this great relationship with her father and his wife, and then said, but I haven't talked to him in a few months. A few months?
I know. I thought the same thing yesterday.
A few months?
Yeah, well, I thought he had no family, and because they're saying the bodies were probably there for 3 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks.
Horrifying.
So, are you telling me no family member was like, "Hey, Dad, just wondering, I haven't heard from you"? No.
Yeah.
No, all on his own. It seems, and then it's weird that the dogs are dead, and as well, it does look like. It feels like it was carbon monoxide, but it sounds like it wasn't carbon monoxide.
Yeah, a lot of it's going to come down to the toxicology report, and those things take a while to come back.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm with you. I mean, when I heard "and one of the dogs," I thought, "Oh, that's got to be carbon monoxide."
Yeah. And then I quickly was switching to some sort of a mercy suicide when you started seeing all of the stories there. So. Who knows? But man, did he look frail. And that picture that the TMZ has is from a year ago. So I can't imagine he was in any better shape a year later. So
No. And Hackman, he really did just disappear from the public eye.
Yeah.
I mean, he just decided, I'm retired, I'm gone. And you didn't see him, floating around, going to Hollywood parties or anything like that.
No.
He just was living in Santa Fe with his wife and just kind of taking in the sun.
Yeah, I think, what was it? 2013 was the last time he was in a movie.
And some of that was by choice, and some of it, I think he's even said, people just stopped calling. He's like, people just didn't want to hire me anymore, so I'm retired.
Wow.
Which is sad when you consider how good he was.
He was so good. Okay, let's talk about new stuff that is in theaters. Woody Harrelson is in a movie. This is kind of interesting, called Last Breath. Any good?
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, this is pretty good, and this is one of those movies that I don't think anybody's going to go see in theaters, and it'll be on streaming in 6 weeks. Okay, so just hold. I don't want to say hold your breath, but hold your breath.
Yeah.
So, but it's Woody Harrelson. He's part of this group of deep sea divers, and they're going into a routine kind of job. They just have to work on some pipe that's down below, on basically almost the surface of the ocean, 300 feet down, and one of the divers gets separated from the group. And you see kind of in real time, this 40 minutes of real time, what they have to do to try to get this guy before it's too late. And, it's not a movie about the dialogue. It's not a movie about the characters, but, seeing those step by step, what they're going through, what they have to try to do, the way they react to it. It's a lot if you remember Apollo 13, that's what it reminded me of. We're in a tragedy. We're going to go through problem solving. And you're just on the edge of your seat, hoping the whole time, can they get to this guy?
Yeah,
Can they do what they have to do? I'm at 3 waffles. I thought it was solid. I thought it was very interesting. And Woody Harrelson, for people who just think Woody Harrelson's kind of a goofball, he's a pretty darn good actor when he needs to be. And he delivers here.
I really think that with Woody Harrelson, it just happened where all of a sudden you're like, yeah, he's pretty good. And when he's in something, it's usually worth watching. I guess I'd say that. I'm sure there are exceptions. But so that's a goodie. How about this Matthew Perry, A Hollywood Tragedy? We don't wait to bring out the documentaries. This is on Peacock.
Yeah, well, I wish they had waited on this one because it is junk. It is horrifyingly bad. It's 1 hour long. It's on Peacock. It's a brief look at Matthew Perry's life, like the briefest look you could possibly do, and then they jump into his death and the people who have been accused of providing him drugs. And what really makes it so bad is there's nothing new here.
Yeah.
There's nothing. Yeah. You know what the biggest surprise was to me in this entire documentary? The biggest surprise was his father was the Old Spice guy in the 70s. I never knew that. But that was the only thing that they really brought out. I mean, everything else is just a rehash of all the headlines you've seen, all the newspaper stories you've read. And I'm really upset because they went into this weird territory where a lot of the people are talking about the court case and facts that have not been proven to be true in court yet. And I think that jeopardizes the case. And even though their lawyers made them put up a statement, which seems to be like every 3 minutes in the documentary, that, hey, the court case hasn't happened yet. None of this has been proven. They just keep going with it. Yeah. This is a zero waffle hour, man. I'm telling you, it is dreadful.
Do not watch this one. I have Mike asking if you've heard anything about the IMAX movie Becoming Led Zeppelin.
Oh God, I've heard about it. I haven't had a chance to see it. Right. I don't have an IMAX anywhere near me, which kind of stinks.
I think the closest for us is Syracuse. I think they have one in Syracuse. Okay, and that's that. And then anything other really big? Oh, Running Point, Netflix series Running Point. Kate Hudson is in this. What do you think? This is kind of almost seems like a takeoff of what's the one on Apple TV Plus with soccer, where the woman takes.
Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso.
I think it's a little bit different take. I mean, I'm with you. It's just like, here's this underdog who has no reason to be running a basketball team who now has to try to succeed. Right? Kind of like Ted Lasso. Shouldn't be coaching a soccer team, but here he is.
Yeah.
And it's Kate Hudson. It's kind of a loosely based story like Jeannie Buss for the LA Lakers.
Okay.
She's the daughter of the big basketball family. She's been running their charitable efforts because she's kind of a screw up. She's never really proven herself to do anything. And now her brother, who is the president of the team, is revealed to be a drug user. He has to step aside, and he appoints her to take over. And, of course, the media doesn't believe she can do it. Her other brothers don't believe she can do it. And there's, all sorts of comedy and slapstick and silliness throughout. I'm at like about 2.5 waffles. It's okay enough.
Okay.
It's okay enough.
Willie, enjoy the weekend. Summer is coming. Spring is coming. Enjoy the weekend.
All right, you too.
All right, great talking to you. Willie Waffle. And there's much to watch. Man, there's just so much to watch out there. It's so hard to keep track of it all. Got a break. We have news coming up next hour. We're going to talk about the snow and what more might be coming.
It's time to stop letting road conditions dictate your journey. Nokian Tires all-weather tires are versatile enough for summer heat, spring rain, and winter snow, allowing you to forget the forecast so you can focus on the road ahead, not the road below. Forget the forecast with a year-round tire approved for winter use. Find Nokian Tires all-weather tires at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, with locations in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Learn more at tallmanstire.com.
Every once in a while, something that sounds too good to be true is actually, in fact, true. How would you like up to $4,000 of free windows? And when I say $4,000 of free windows, I mean $4,000 of free windows. No gimmicks or games. You don't have to buy $4,000 to get $4,000 free. You just get up to $4,000 of free windows through Patriot Home Solutions and NYSERDA. Of course, some restrictions apply, but none of these restrictions are income-based, and you don't have to sit through a long, drawn-out sales presentation. Give Patriot a call at 315-401-0440, and they can quickly tell you over the phone if you qualify or how you can get qualified. That's 315-401-0440. These aren't any windows. They're high-quality, custom-fitted windows designed to save energy and keep the cold air out all winter. Your window solution is Patriot Home Solutions. Online at patriothomesolutions.com.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome.
W295EI.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
Deepening ties with Ukraine. I'm Chris Foster at Fox News. Ukraine's president's back at the White House today to talk about support for the war with Russia, how to end that war, and a deal tying our countries together for years to come.
Volodymyr Zelensky arrives here this morning to sign off on a historic economic framework tying the U.S. to Ukraine's rare earth mineral development.
I think it's going to be great for Ukraine. We're going to be at the site, and we'll be digging.
President Trump says the partnership will help recoup taxpayer support for Ukraine and deepen cooperation with Zelensky.
We're going to get along really well, okay? We have a lot of respect. I have a lot of respect for him.
President Trump did not say if he'd offer an apology for describing Zelensky earlier this month as a dictator. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
The mass firing of probationary federal employees, probably illegal, says a federal judge in San Francisco, ordering the Office of Personnel Management to retract the firing directives. The judge says, though, he doesn't have the power to give anyone their job back or stop agencies from letting anybody go. Hundreds were laid off yesterday at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, and the National Weather Service. 29 prisoners, including a drug lord who killed a federal agent, are sent from Mexico to the U.S.
The handover of Rafael Caro Quintero, who was behind the 1985 killing of a DEA agent, was confirmed to the Associated Press by a Mexican government official and two other sources. It coincides with a visit to Washington by Mexico's foreign minister and other top economic and military officials who met with Secretary of State Marco Rubio as the U.S. and Mexico continue to negotiate on trade and security relations.
Fox's Lisa Lacera. The Iowa legislature passes a bill ending civil rights protections for transgender people, removing them from a list of groups protected from discrimination. America's listening to Fox News.
It's time to throw your overpriced big wireless contract overboard with a qualifying plan. You can choose an iPhone 14 or a Samsung Galaxy for $0. Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team will make the switch in as little as 10 minutes. No hassle, no gimmicks, just honest-to-goodness wireless price right. Dial pound 250, you say the keywords Pure Talk, claim your new iPhone or Galaxy with a qualifying purchase from Pure Talk, which is America's wireless company. Visit puretalk.com for details.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life.
Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Cause of death for actor Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy still unknown at this point. There are no signs of external injuries.
The Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office says autopsies on the bodies of late actor Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa were performed, noting there were no initial signs of trauma to the bodies or signs of foul play, but deeming their deaths suspicious enough to investigate, revealing they appeared to be dead for quite a while. Carbon monoxide tests and toxicology tests were requested, but according to officials, there were no signs of a gas or a carbon monoxide leak. 95-year-old Hackman was found dead in a mudroom, his wife on a bathroom floor near a space heater and scattered pills from an unnamed prescription. Investigators also finding a German Shepherd dead in a bathroom closet and 2 other dogs alive on the property. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
A bus driver in Ohio is being called a hero for getting 15 middle schoolers off a burning bus.
The students on their way to Monticello Middle School in the Cleveland Heights University Heights City School District when the fire erupted behind one of the rear tires. The heroic bus driver jumped into action, rushing the students off the bus in what was described as an orderly, calm manner as the bus became engulfed in flames. The school superintendent not only credits the fast response by the bus driver for the safe evacuation, but also the annual bus evacuation drills done with the students. Students were picked up by another district vehicle and brought to school. The cause of the fire wasn't immediately known. Ted Linder, Fox News.
It's the start of Daytona Bike Week in Florida. About 420,000 people reportedly showed up last year.
The weather is expected to cooperate at this 84th Daytona Bike Week. Events include performance bike shows, bikini contests, and stunt shows, including something called the Globe of Death. Sponsorships have grown in recent years. Attendees can expect to see Harley-Davidson, but also Progressive Insurance and a lot of biker attorneys.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. NBA, Steph Curry scores 56 points in Golden State's 121-15 over Orlando. Chris Foster, Fox News.
Good morning. It is 27 in Utica. Your news time is 7:05. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone. A Frankfort woman was arrested on prison contraband charges. The Oneida County Sheriff's Office said they received a contraband complaint from Oneida County Correctional on the 12th and launched an investigation. Authorities arrested 35-year-old Alicia Puglisi on the 21st, but provided no further details about her involvement or the alleged incident. Authorities charged her with the count of second-degree promoting prison contraband and seventh-degree criminal possession of a controlled substance, both charges of which are misdemeanors. Puglisi was taken to Oneida County Correctional, where she remains held pending arraignment. Bird flu is now confirmed after dozens of dead birds washed up on a Long Island beach over the past few days. Ducks, geese, seagulls, and other dead birds began littering a Suffolk County beach in East Patachog on Tuesday. Tim Jones, who lives nearby, spotted them, plus a duck that was twitching and swimming in tight circles. He immediately called the Department of Environmental Protection. They suspected bird flu, collected specimens, tested it, and have now confirmed it. Cornell Wildlife Lab says 37 New York counties have been impacted by bird flu. Starting this weekend, Syracuse residents will be able to enjoy a great meal at an even better price. Downtown Syracuse Dining Weeks kicks off tomorrow and runs through Saturday, March 14th. Restaurants will be offering 3-course dinners for $40 or less, plus 2-course lunches for $15 or less. For more details, including all the participating businesses, head to downtownsyracuse.com. And New York Governor Kathy Hochul says she's committed to imposing a statewide cell phone ban in schools. At a fireside chat with Youth Mental Health and Distraction-Free Schools, Hochul said she will be the heavy in implementing a uniform cell phone ban for students across the state. It comes as social psychologist Jonathan Haidt says schools need to implement a bell-to-bell ban during the school day, adding it has led to less bullying and drama in the classroom and hallways. A New York high school student says she feels constant communication will help peers better adjust to the change. It is 27 degrees under partly cloudy skies in downtown Utica. Your news time is 7:07. Here is your weather forecast from Ray Stajic.
Winter weather advisory with a clipper coming in later kicks in, and that's going to be for northern Oneida County and points north. Get up into the North Country, up on the Tug Hill Plateau and the Adirondacks. Could be 3 to 6 inches of snow. Here locally, snow showers scattered around, especially later today into this evening. Could be an inch or two in and around the area. We'll get some mixing with rain tonight, which should hold down on the totals. Rain and snow showers tomorrow becoming all snow, maybe a light accumulation. I'm Ray Stejik at the Weather Channel, WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
It is currently 27 degrees. Cloudy skies, WIBX.
In sports, on-field workouts are underway at the 2025 NFL Combine in Indianapolis. Defensive linemen and linebackers took the field at Lucas Oil Stadium to participate in events such as the 40-yard dash, vertical jump, and broad jump. UCLA linebacker Kane Medrano clocked the fastest 40-yard dash of the day in 4.46 seconds. The linebackers and defensive linemen have the bench press remaining on Friday, while defensive backs and tight ends will take the field for their workouts. The NFL has set a salary cap for the upcoming season. League spokesperson Brian McCarthy announced Thursday that the 2025 salary cap has been set at a record $272.9 million per team. That's an increase of $23.8 million from last year's salary cap. McCarthy also announced that the limit on projected player costs, including benefits, is set at $362.48 million. The salary cap is calculated annually based on collectively bargained formulas tied to league revenues. The potential first overall pick for the NFL draft is dodging surgery. ESPN reported on Thursday that doctors had advised Abdul Carter against undergoing foot surgery. The defensive end is dealing with a stress reaction on his right foot and isn't participating in the NFL scouting combine. As a result, however, Carter is expected to work out during Penn State's Pro Day in late March. The pass rusher is projected to go within the top 3 picks. The Chiefs are not planning on allowing arguably one of the best offensive linemen in the NFL to hit the free agent market this offseason. ESPN reporting that Kansas City has informed Pro Bowl guard Trey Smith that they will use the franchise tag on him. In other news, star tight end Travis Kelce has confirmed a previous report that he plans to return for the 2025 season. And taking a look at the Grapefruit League, Yankees continue their spring with a trip to Clearwater, ended with a 7-7 tie against the Philadelphia Phillies. They're now 2-3 and will continue the Grapefruit League play when it hosts Toronto in Tampa. And the Mets, they snapped their spring skid with a 5-0 win over the Houston Astros. New York is 2-4 and will host the Washington Nationals this afternoon.
Davey, a couple of things to note on hockey. I'll start with hockey, and that's tonight. Comets are home at the Adirondack Bank Center tonight. And then the Utica Pioneers playing in the UCHC championship. This is the semifinals. If they win here, they're in the championship game, which will be at the Adirondack Bank Center next Saturday. Tomorrow night, Utica plays Chatham University, and that game is at 7 p.m. So far this year, they've played Chatham twice. I believe it was 3-3 in a shootout, and Chatham won that game 2-0. And then the Pioneers won. That was February 7th. On February 8th, the Pioneers won 6-2. So it's going to be a game this weekend. Davey, this weekend also a little basketball action. You are put in a really tough position because you don't know, do you watch Syracuse or do you watch Colgate this weekend? What you going to do? Are you just you can talk? You're good.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry. I was doing something. I'm trying to figure something out. I got you now.
You're making me nervous. You're staring into my eyes. It was a wonderful glance.
Sorry.
Tomorrow, what do you think? Are you going to see Colgate or are you going to watch Syracuse?
I'm leaning towards going to see Colgate.
What time is that Syracuse game?
12
noon, and that'll be on
CW.
The CW.
And if anybody else wants to watch Colgate, it's on CBS Sports Network, high noon tip-off.
All right, so they're both going to be on TV tomorrow.
Yes.
So check that out. All right, stand by. We're coming right back. Obika's free money question this morning is worth $300. We are on a roll. 2 days in a row, we've given away bigger amounts. We're at like $450 in the last couple of days. The money is flowing. We'll get to all that coming up at WIBX.
The Potting Shed Antiques in Whitesboro is buying silver, gold, gold-filled, vintage costume, estate jewelry, and U.S. and Canadian coins. They've been your hometown buyer for over 50 years. While other gold and silver buyers claim to offer the highest prices, the Potting Shed Antiques actually delivers. Let Don Hartman take a look at your individual pieces or your entire collection. The Potting Shed Antiques, open Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Please call ahead for an appointment. Visit thepottingshedantiques.com.
At Steve Ponte Chevy in Herkimer, we'd like to thank our first responders, active military, and veterans,
as well as healthcare employees and education employees.
Not only is Chevrolet offering $500 in savings towards the purchase of your new Chevy, but Steve Ponte Chevy is going to match that with an additional $500 for a total of $1,000 in savings as our thank you to you.
So together, let's drive and see why our customers always say it's so easy to do business with Steve Ponte Chevy on Route 28 in Herkimer.
Customer must qualify for educator, military, veterans, first responder, and healthcare discount. Must take delivery by February 28, 2025. See salesperson for details. A Mohawk Valley tradition returns on Friday, March 7th, when the WIBX Heart Radiothon goes live from Utica University. Doctors from Radiothon sponsor Slocum Dixon Medical Group will share ways we can stay healthy. We'll hear from treadmill challengers as they face off against each other, and Red Cap ambassadors to America's Greatest Heart Run and Walk will remind us why we support the American Heart Association. Of course, we'll have special incentives to thank you for your donations. Be sure and tune in.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
It's Brian Kilmeade.
Here's the deal on J.D. Vance. 9 things that you're not going to like about it. Not even a moment to say, hey, now your ticket's formed. It's going to be a great 4 months. Let's have at it in a civil way. That would have been a normal thing to do. Is the staff missing the moment? Are they that bad? Do they think the only way to win is to create tension, make the other guys look unelectable still?
Brian Kilmeade. Weekday mornings at 9 on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Hello, everyone in Central New York. This is Dave Letterman, your old TV pal. Remember me? I'm supposed to say something witty and funny here about Bill Keeler, but I've got nothing. Ever see a picture of this guy? That's a joke in itself. Anyhow, here's Keeler on WIBX.
Hey, I want to tell you the Steve Ponte Mazda New Year, New Mazda sales event is plowing through right into the end of February. They've increased their inventory with over 150 new Mazdas. Save on a new Mazda lease or enjoy 0.9% APR financing on new 2025 Mazda CX-30s, CX-5s, 50s, 70s, and CX-90s. See Rick or anybody at the dealership for details. As they say, as Ricky says, Ricky Z, let's make your deal on a new Mazda. From the dealership that's achieved first place nationally in customer satisfaction, it is Steve Ponte Mazda, Commercial Drive in Yorkville. I got to tell you something, and maybe Davey, you can come up on this too. How do you open on, and Megan, how do you open the gas door on your car?
I have a Mazda too, so I have that little button underneath the steering wheel.
A little button.
Yep.
So
or a lever.
Right now, I'm having a little service done, so I'm driving the CX-90 2025 model.
You got a fancy
Davey,
one.
how do you open your gas?
The old-fashioned way. I don't have any of the leverage.
You don't. So yours doesn't lock.
No, it just opens up and.
Remember when you used to get behind the car and you'd have to pull the license plate down and stick it in the back?
Yes.
Yeah, they stopped doing that. I guess I don't know why. Maybe because people would back up or something over somebody. I don't know. Anyway, this is the coolest thing on the Mazda. On the 2025, there is no unlock button for the gas door.
Really?
When you unlock your car, when you unlock the doors, that's when it automatically unlocks. So it unlocks with the doors and it locks with your doors.
There you go.
So when you unlock your your driver's door, automatically it does. You don't have to hit another button. I thought that was why hasn't that been done before? Everybody should be doing that.
It should be, because have you ever had the horror story of coming to your car and seeing a bunch of sugar lining your gas cap?
No.
People pour sugar in people's gas tanks.
I do know that.
Yeah.
I do know that, but I've never had it done. Have you?
It happened to a family member.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, now you got to explain.
Oh, I have a family who works for the state court system, and they drove a car that was easily identifiable to her. And she walked into the parking lot one day and saw the gas cap off because her car doesn't lock.
Didn't have a lock.
It's one of the old fashions where you just put your hand into like the little indent by the trap door, as I like to call it. And it was covered in sugar. And thankfully, she saw it before she started her car. Otherwise, it would have been a huge mess.
Right. So she had to have her
Car towed.
stomach pumped, if you will. Right? They had to take all that, because that'll destroy your vehicle.
Yep, and
your engine.
Yeah, and it got on the weight, and it said, "Oh, I lost 5 pounds."
Yeah.
It's the new sugar diet.
That is wild. I've certainly knew that can be done, but that's very cool. Rick saying, who also has a CX-90, hold on. He is saying the car on the Mazda, the car has to be off, and there's a button on the left-hand side panel underneath the steering wheel, but on the left-hand side that shows a picture of a gas pump that it unlocks the door. I know that. That's what my car has. This vehicle that I'm driving right now does not have that. It has when I unlock the doors to the car, it automatically unlocks the gas door.
So it's
when I lock the doors and I'm walking into the radio station this morning, because this is when I just discovered this. I kept hearing a click back by the when I'd lock the doors, I would hear a click back by the gas door. So I tried to open it, and you couldn't open it. I then went back into the car. This is what I'm doing before I came in this morning. Then I went back into the car and realized there's no button for it in this car. I haven't put gas in it, so I didn't know.
I could only imagine you looking around like, where's that noise coming from?
I think it's a new feature, and it's pretty good. I like it. Greg is on the line right now. Greg, good morning, Greg. First of all, how do you get into your gas trap? Do you have a little button inside, or is there a lock on it?
I got the little button. You push the button, and that doesn't pop it open. It just unlocks it.
I'm button free. This is very exciting. No
amazing.
one else seems to be really impressed with this, but whoever at Mazda came up with this, I just say brilliant.
Promotion.
Promotion. You're right. Greg, what's going on this morning?
Well, so I'm a carpenter, and I watch the news and I see everybody saying, "Oh, Elon, he's using a chainsaw on the government." And, every day I use tools that I think could help the government,
Okay, all right.
Like I would give Maxine Waters a screwdriver to tighten her loose screws.
That would be
use
good.
A power drill.
Uh-huh.
You could use a power drill. You could open up oil wells in Gavin Newsom's hair.
That hair of his. Yeah.
Yeah, that hair. It's crazy, all the oil up there. It's a resource. You could take a level and find out why Susan Murkowski keeps tilting left. It'd be very simple.
Terrible.
Use a vice grip, squeeze more money out of NATO.
All right. That would be good. Yep.
You could give Elizabeth Warren a staple gun, then she can fix her forked tongue. Easy. These are good tools that are going to waste here. You could use needle nose pliers to pluck out George Soros' tiny black soul. Simple. Reach in, grab the hammer of justice, nail down exactly how Pelosi makes her stock picks. Then we'd know.
She makes some money with that, boy, let me tell you.
She's making money.
Yeah,
Take a tape measure. You could fit Fetterman for a suit. This guy, it's easy. These are easy solutions.
These are all tools, too. These are all amazing tools. I can't believe it.
They're great. Some people have them in their garage. Like, for example, in the government, Lindsey Graham, he wants war. Well, that's great. Grab some bungee cords and strap him to an ICBM. Boom. He's got war. You could take Bernie Sanders, give him 3 Karl Marx key rings, 1 for each of his houses. Boom, you're set.
Boom.
You use a crowbar. You pry Jerry Nadler away from vending machines. You're helping him out. And AOC, I would encourage AOC to replace her lip gloss with duct tape.
Oh, you would. That is interesting. Those lips are always shiny. There's no doubt about it. Okay there, Greg. It sounds like you're quite an amazing carpenter, I got to say.
I use all the tools in the box.
You do use all. If only the government would use all the tools. I'm not sure the chainsaw is the only one they should be using. All right, Greg, have a great weekend, man. Thank you.
You too, Bill.
How about I want to go through a couple, and then we're going to talk to Carl Trainer, who is an expert on anything. Davey, correct me if I'm wrong. He is an expert on anything and everything that is Boonville.
At the fair,
whether it's
anything
the
with
fair,
trains, weather.
It could be the winter festival they do. Jimmy Carter, we're going to get this real story on what happened when Jimmy Carter came to town. But he also has a great deal of historic knowledge, the history of how much snow Boonville gets. And then how does it compare to this year? People keep saying this is like an old-fashioned winter that we're getting right now. What is it? An old-fashioned winter in Boonville? We'll find out. Carl will be coming up in a few minutes.
So the first thing I went to this past summer, I went to the Boonville Fair. I went.
You went with Carl, right?
Well, thanks to Carl, he gave me a couple of tickets.
Okay.
So I met up with him. He gave me tickets. Very nice of him. So the first thing I always do when I go to the fair, I run right to the youth building and see Carl's display of the landscaping that he does with his Legos and stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. So he does it with Legos every year.
Well, it's not Legos. It's like he'll get more into it. It's
Okay.
like a scenery of what the fair used to look like in the early days.
So
he spends a lot of time with
it's
it.
like
It's
a
awesome.
model. It's a
Yes,
model of the fair.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Pretty cool. Davey, a couple stories to squeeze in first. And remember, Hobica's free money question coming up. We're $300 this morning.
We had a winner yesterday and Wednesday.
Crazy. A man in North Carolina called 911 on Monday, and he said that he'd been locked inside a storage unit for a week.
Really?
He said his girlfriend locked him inside, and it took him days to find his cell phone. Why? Because it was dark inside the unit. It took him 5 days to find his cell phone. Can you imagine? It's completely pitch dark. You can see nothing inside.
Oof.
And your cell phone is not lit up. I don't know how the cell phone still had a battery, right? But it did. His girlfriend was mad at him. She locked him inside. Here is the original 911 call and the lieutenant from the police department talking about what they're calling this, obviously, is a crime. Here we go.
911, where's your emergency?
I've been locked in a storage unit for about a week now, and I just now found my phone.
The girlfriend has outstanding warrants for attempted murder and for kidnapping. No food, no water, elements. You know, like I said, if we had been in the heat of the summer or the super cold of the winter, this would be a whole different story.
Wow. That is, I would have thought maybe, did no one go to that storage unit? I'd have been pounded on the walls. I mean, was there no way to get out for almost a week?
And also,
apparently.
If it was pure dark, though, he probably had no idea about the passage of time.
That's
either.
probably too, right? How do you tell time going by? What a miracle that he actually found his phone, because he would have been what they call, well, they used to call it toast. Now they call it, he'd have been a Hackman. That's too early for that, I realize, but that's what would have happened.
Yeah,
it is what would have happened. He just would have died. I mean, he was pretty close to it, a week with no food and water. An 18-year-old woman in Florida was arrested after vandalizing her ex's car. You were just talking about this maybe with the sugar in the gas cap or in the gas tank. Apparently, she ended up egging and spray painting a neighbor's car by mistake. She thought it was her ex's car. It wasn't. It was her ex's neighbor's car. Here she is, being arrested.
You really need to try harder to try to be sneaky, because you are god awful. You guys spray painted the wrong damn car.
First of all, I'm not Jason, bro. Like, you know that. I'm Jonathan. That wasn't me. It's crazy, too. Like, they chose the perfect color. The perfect color to pop off of black. You're 18. There's no point to ruin your life this early over a guy.
I got to tell you, if you're selecting your mate and you pick one that could do this to you or lock you into a storage unit, you're really not good at making choices. And a former high school student from Connecticut is now suing her school district because she graduated without being taught how to read or write. And she says, because they graduated, this is Connecticut,
yep.
Because they graduated her and she can't read or write, she is suing. What do you think? You're from Connecticut. How are the schools?
Our schools are actually pretty okay. It depends on her district. I'm not going to slam any of the schools or the education, but it seems a little bit odd that she claims that she cannot read or write at all, because you know what? We should get a teacher from Central New York to talk about this, because this seems almost bizarre.
If you can't, it kind of is the story of, right, they just keep passing them on and passing them on and passing them on and graduating,
but with standardized
and they never
tests,
learn. I would find that pretty hard to believe. Anyway, maybe at some point her parents should have taken some responsibility. On top of that, the school diagnosed her with dyslexia on the last day of her senior year. Here she is talking about what teachers would tell her to do rather than, I mean, this seems like it's a really bad case. She might have a case here. This is what she says teachers would tell her to do rather than read or write.
They would just either tell me to stay in a corner and sleep, or just draw pictures, flowers for them.
Okay. You sit in the corner and draw some flowers.
That
While the rest of us read. Oh, the other kids read. It's crazy.
I don't have words for that. I find that so bizarre that with all the standardized testing Connecticut makes people do, there's no way, because schools get their money from standardized testing, and one really bad grade could really tilt the scales out of their favor.
She had great grades.
She
her
drew
grades
all over
were
her
wonderful.
tests.
Yeah, everything was great. 16th Annual Utica St. Patrick's Day Parade Food Drive is back again. And non-perishable food items will be collected during the St. Patrick's Day Parade, which, by the way, is only 2 weeks away. It's Saturday, March 15th, and it'll all benefit Mother Mary Ann West Side Kitchen. Hard to believe, but it's 2 weeks for the St. Patrick's Day Parade, one of the biggie events that sends the message it's springtime. How about also in 2 weeks, we're going to be moving our clocks forward by an hour. That already is happening. It might even be a week away now.
It's next Saturday.
It's next Saturday night.
Oh, so we lose an hour of sleep.
But you gain that wonderful hour of daylight. Griffo is not happy.
And don't remind me, because I turned a big 5-0 2 days after the 15th.
Okay.
We'll throw a birthday party.
We won't remind you.
Birthday party.
Coming up, Megan updates the news. We'll do Habaika's free money question of the day coming right up at WIBX.
Hungry for something new? Discover Chef's Express, a bakery on a mission. Nestled in downtown Utica at 241 Genesee Street, they serve your favorite baked goods, mouth-watering breakfast sandwiches, savory lunches, and delicious desserts, plus catering options for your event. And every bite at Chef's Express helps people with disabilities in our community thrive. Stop in Monday through Friday or visit chefsexpressutica.com. That's Chef's Express. Great food with a greater purpose.
It's time to stop letting road conditions dictate your journey. Nokian Tires all-weather tires are versatile enough for summer heat, spring rain, and winter snow, allowing you to forget the forecast, so you can focus on the road ahead, not the road below. Forget the forecast with a year-round tire approved for winter use. Find Nokian Tires all-weather tires at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, with locations in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Learn more at tallmanstire.com.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
All right, WIBX News Time, 7:31. Davey Donna this morning is saying, just shut your pie hole about your age. You're going to be 50 years old. 50.
Who said that?
I am 50. You will be 50 years old next week, right?
St. Patrick's Day.
She said, tell Davey, the 50-year-old, to stop. I turned 69 today.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Donna. who's out there and doesn't look like she's 69 years old. I'm just telling you.
I don't look like I'm 50.
You look like you're 60. I'm
Thank
kidding.
you.
I'm kidding. Megan has news at WIBX.
Good morning, 26 degrees in downtown Utica. Your WIBX news time is 7:32. I'm Megan Stone. The FDA is canceling a meeting to select which strains will be included in next season's flu shots. Federal health officials said in an email the Vaccine Advisory Committee meeting had been called off. No explanation was given for the cancellation. The news comes as the U.S. deals with a particularly severe flu season. So far, there have been at least 19,000 flu-related deaths among adults and 86 in children. New York City Mayor Eric Adams is looking to find and highlight records of formerly enslaved New Yorkers. In order to understand the city's history better, the Department of Records and Information Services will be transcribing documents dating back to 1660 to help historians locate the records of enslaved New Yorkers. The Adams administration is looking for volunteers to help with this task. Mayor Adams says this will help shed light on the stories of enslaved people who have shaped the city into what it is today. A report from Columbia University and Robinhood finds a quarter of New York City residents don't have enough money to meet basic needs. Nearly 60% of New Yorkers had incomes 200% below the poverty line, with residents saying they can't afford housing, food, and doctor's appointments. According to the report, the poverty threshold for a family with 2 children renting in New York City was $47,190 in 2023. The report also found 26% of New York's children live in poverty. And some consumers and activists are calling for an economic blackout today. The idea is not to spend money for 24 hours, a protest against corporate greed and companies that have pulled back on supporting diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts, or DEI. There are also calls for additional boycotts of companies like Amazon, Walmart, and Nestle in the coming weeks. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. Here's your full weather forecast.
Winter weather advisory with a clipper coming in later kicks in, and that's going to be for northern Oneida County and points north. Get up into the North Country, up on the Tug Hill Plateau and the Adirondacks. Could be 3 to 6 inches of snow. Here locally, snow showers scattered around, especially later today into this evening. Could be an inch or two in and around the area. We'll get some mixing with rain tonight, which should hold down on the totals. Rain and snow showers tomorrow becoming all snow, maybe a light accumulation. I'm Ray Stajic at the Weather Channel, WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
All right, we are with cloudy skies right now, and it's down to 26 degrees. This is cold for where we've been. Tomorrow, warming up, though, and then back to wintertime.
Back to reality.
Speaking of wintertime, we're going to speak with Carl Streeter on, is this really an old-fashioned...
Carl Trainer.
Sorry, you're right, different person. Carl Trainer, which I know. Is this an old-fashioned winter, like everybody's saying? This is like we used to have. Or is it? Carl Trainer is an expert on Boonville and knows the snow and is just, in his mind, it's like a history book. It's really incredible. We'll get to that coming up in a second. Stand by. First, though, chance at $300 from Hobika's free money question of the day. Davey, today it is worth $300, and you're looking for caller number what?
Caller number 5.
Fifth caller right now, 315-736-0186. We'll do it next to WIBX.
Whitesboro Central School District is looking for bus drivers to join their team now. Whitesboro is a leading school system in central New York with 7 schools, 3,100 students, and a 92% graduation rate. You can help drive our students' success. When you drive for Whitesboro, you get pay that's based on your experience, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and summers off. Call Andy at 315-768-9740 or stop by the garage, 20 Wood Road, Whitesboro.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference
for you? Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text BICEP to 321321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text BICEP to 321321. That's BICEP to 321321.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free.
Keeler in the Morning invites you to connect with us through telephonic communication at 315-736-0186. Or use the Call Us button on the WIBX 950 app. For additional contact methodologies, please refer to WIBX950.com.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Before we do Habaika's free money question, I want to tell you, if you're looking for flooring, there's no better place than in Sarah's Flooring Outlet, the area's leading flooring store for Pergo Extreme by Mohawk, or carpet, remnants. You're looking for hardwoods. You're looking for tile. Anything that's flooring, they have you covered. It's the largest inventory in all of Central New York. What I love about it is sometimes you go and you buy something and your neighbor comes over and you're like, I have that same thing. You can find really unique products, things you don't see everywhere else that are really perfect for your home at Sarah's Flooring Outlet. 6 months interest-free financing available in Sarah's Flooring Outlet, Route 49 Plaza, River Road in Marcy, or online 24/7 at sarahsflooringoutlet.com. Billy is in Schuyler, ready to take a shot at Habaika's free money question. It's from Joseph and Andrew Habaika. For your legal needs, call 315-724-1600. Billy, William, good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Doing good.
You don't know that. You don't know that yet. You don't. Oh, you do. Okay, you're feeling really confident. I like that. Okay, you know how this works. This is worth $300. And you have 7 seconds to get your answer in, and I'm sure you're ready. So here we go, Billy. This is your question. This animal can change directions in mid-air. Which one? Ready, go.
Bat.
The bat can change directions in mid-air. That's interesting. I really have to dig into that because the question that I have is the cheetah. The cheetah can change. I imagine a bird can change, but that's.
But you said
we're talking about an animal. I wonder if that's a flawed question. I will dig into that. As of right now, that is not the correct answer, but we'll dig in a little deeper for you. Because let me just say this: if we could give away another $300 of Habaika's money on the last day of February, I would love to do it. I will give you the all-in-one food and fun card. It's a $25 gift card. Davey, make sure you get his number because we'll do a little research on that question. That actually was a pretty good answer. It's probably what I would have said.
Exactly.
Billy, stand by. Davey's going to hook you up, okay? We'll give you the all-in-one food and fun card, and your case is pending. We'll dig in a little deeper, all right?
Okay.
All right, stand by. They give me a wonderful list of questions that have been vetted, so I assume they know what they're talking about, but I'll bring in Carl on this. You never know, right, Carl? You never know. Tight on that microphone. Good morning.
Good morning.
You never know when they screw up a little bit, right?
That's for sure.
That's possible. All right, we'll dig in on that in a little bit. All right. So in studio right now is Carl Trainer. He is, before you know it, we're going to be celebrating the Boonville Fair.
Well, it's funny that you would say that because we certainly are having a remarkable winter.
Yeah.
It's an old-fashioned winter. I think it's kind of like Lucille Ball.
You hear all these people saying this is like an old-fashioned winter, and you agree with that.
Well, I think we had too many old fashions, like Lucille Ball and her salad dressing episode she did.
Or maybe
but
she was
anyways,
making rum balls.
Well, right.
Yeah.
But it is an old-fashioned winter, but yet it's a rather strange winter, and I'll tell you why I think that.
All right.
But first of all, we've got to begin with a note of optimism here. Tomorrow, meteorologically, March 1st, is the first day of spring. In the weather business, the first day of June is summer. The first day of September is fall. The first day of December is winter.
And I'll tell you, and now we're going to the first day of spring.
Tomorrow in the meteorological world is the first day of spring. And they do it that way because by the time we get to whatever change of the season it is, around the 20th.
So it's usually March 20th.
Right. We've
21st.
Hopefully we'll have had quite a bit of maybe some spring weather. Right. Not in Boonville, of course. We're just, really getting tuned up to winter then.
You're just getting started.
Just getting started, right.
So you it is very interesting that you would think in March. Now, if you go back the last 4, 5, 6 years, March, your lawn is ready to be mowed, for God's sakes.
It's ready to be mowed, yes. Last year, we really didn't have winter.
I know.
For several years, we in Boonville will say, well, this hasn't been winter. We just didn't have winter this year.
Yeah.
I will never tease for another old-fashioned winter. Yeah. And at the get-go here, and thank you for having me on the air. I enjoyed the toboggan ride down here in the car.
I'll bet.
I was afraid of black ice. But anyways, a little bit of optimism, a little shot of optimism that'll make everybody smile. I hope 145 days from today is the opening day of the Boonville and Ida County
Well, there's
Fair.
where I was going.
And even better, just as good. You can't beat the fair, but just as good. 136 days from today is the Boilermaker.
Boy,
it's
coming.
We've got to get tuned up.
We better get, and I hate to say that it's going to be a little more difficult for people this year because training usually for the Boilermaker usually begins in March.
Yes, it does.
And it's a little bit different this year.
High school, baseball, everything. And one thing that is unusual about this winter, I think anyways, is it's been a hard winter everywhere. And it's been just as hard a winter down here in Utica, over in Rome, Camden. There was 2 days where I watched the Weather Channel quite a bit.
Yeah.
And on the radar, there was strong lake effect snowstorm that stretched from Lake Huron all the way to Provincetown, Rhode Island.
Oh,
That is quite a squall.
Yeah, Provincetown or Providence, either one.
However you say
it. Yeah.
It came through the Utica area.
Can I have you do me one favor? Take that microphone and move it this way. Just move it right away from you. We're going to shut it right off. And grab the other microphone and bring it to you. And there we go. That's going to work a little better because it's aimed in the right direction.
Oh, good.
You ended up grabbing the wrong mic, but that's okay.
Okay, so
and boom.
Also, I'd like to give a big tip of the shovel or tip of the hat or whatever to all of our snowplow drivers, our
what a year they've had.
Drivers. Oh my gosh, what a year they've had, and everywhere.
I almost called our plow guy yesterday and said, because I was stuck editing all day yesterday, and I almost called him to say, could you just come and do a scraping of my driveway because there's a lot of, it's just filled with slush and just one last, but I just thought differently and said, we've already worked him too much.
Well,
so
I
get the shovel. It's good for a good exercise and scrape it yourself.
Well, and then last night everything froze up solid.
And it did, yeah.
Yeah. So where this winter is different, and it kind of goes along, I hate to say, but with the atmosphere getting more violent, it seems like, after what happened to Rome last year, I think on July 16th.
What a year.
We used to think, well, we don't have tornadoes in New York State that are very bad. We had a bad one in 1983 after a very mild winter on the 2nd of May in Boonville at 10 o'clock at night. That tornado broke all the norms of and it traveled.
And that
from,
actually was a little higher. I think that was a little bigger of a tornado, right?
Well, it started in
bigger, but
Cleveland, Ohio, and it touched down in Jamestown and western New York area, and then it went airborne in the air. That would never happen today. It could happen today, but because Doppler radar had not come into use in 1983. So
there would have been warnings.
There would have been warnings all the way across the state. There would have been warnings.
See, the ones that are difficult are the ones that just start in an area.
Right.
And it becomes it's not enough time,
No.
depending on where it
No.
starts.
Right.
And I kind of feel like that's what happened in Rome.
Oh, I think definitely that's what
no
happened.
one, I mean,
right.
Just watching some of those home videos, like people on their phones. The one that was most impressive was the person that was driving down one of the streets in Rome, and you're watching, and all of a sudden he couldn't see what was in front of him. It was just terrible.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But it could have been much worse.
Yes,
but the people of Rome have done a great job recovering from that.
Oh, great.
But you're right.
So what I think has set this winter apart is, first of all, and this is a good thing, I think, we haven't had 20, 30, 40 below zero weather.
Yeah, we really haven't had that.
That has been good. We've had an awful lot of snow, and the old timers had a lot of sayings about winter. And one of them was, if it got down to 0 or below, 10 degrees or below or whatever, they'd say, well, it's too cold to snow because the moisture in the air got frozen out, similar to hanging your laundry on the clothesline on 0 day. It freezes it out, it can't snow.
Right.
But in Boonville, don't even bet on that. But so we haven't had the 30, 40 below zero weather this year.
I think it's going to be cold this weekend, but it's not going to be.
No, and then when you get in
zero.
March, the sun is too high in the air. So it's spring. Remember, tomorrow's
coming.
the first
Tomorrow's
day
the
of
first
spring.
day.
Right.
I'm with you.
So I brought along. I have the weather records in Boonville. Edie
Are
O'Rourke.
you a reporter? Do you report temperatures?
But my friend in Lowville, Dave Sundquist, he does.
Got it.
But Edie O'Rourke let me copy Mr. Lansing's records from 1949 into the 2000s.
Wow.
And the thing that stands out is the decrease in snowfall and the increase in temperatures. It's so, and we used to always figure on, if you added it all up in a normal old-fashioned winter, we would have a month of 20 to 30 below zero weather at night. And up to maybe only 0 during the day. Maybe the high might be 10 below or whatever.
It was colder back then. It was.
It was. And it's cold here in Utica. The wind down here in the valley. So I brought along my weather page from January 1957. And on the 25th or the 13th of January, the high was 25. This is in Jackson Hill, and it's a little warmer up there. 10 below. The next day it was 3, 19 below. The next day, on the 15th, the high was -3, and on Jackson Hill, the low was 26 below. But down in the valley, the low was 55 below zero that morning.
That's
and
unbelievable.
That made newspaper headlines around the world. But then
in fact, I think that is I'm trying to think of the record. There was just a record I read recently where it was in Boonville or near Boonville where the coldest temperature ever recorded. Oh, it was actually Old Forge.
Well,
coldest temperature ever recorded.
And Old Forge has a lot harder winters.
Yes,
than
they do.
Have.
Yeah.
The coldest that I can remember was in February 1979. We had an awfully cold February that year. And in the middle of February, and the snowmobile races were on, we checked in on a Sunday morning. Old Forge checked in with a 52 below.
Wow.
We were milder, much milder. We cracked open the window and turned on the fan on low, and we were 48 below.
Wow,
in Boonville that morning. So Boonville had its 55 below zero on the 15th of January, and on the 20th, the high was 31. The 21st, the high was 39. the 22nd and 23rd, the high was 47 for each of those days.
Yeah, you still had those extremes.
So we did have.
Yeah.
And then on the 24th, the high was 12.
Wow.
So it went from 47 to 12.
Well, that's what you would call a January thaw,
That
right?
was a January thaw.
Yeah.
And we used to have a January thaw almost every year.
Yeah.
Almost every year.
But it would last a little while, and then it would go right back to cold.
But we sometimes, our snow would be halved in the January thaw.
Right.
And I feel so bad for the municipalities.
Terrible.
And for all of the people that have had buildings collapse. The
Farmers have been,
Oh, it's been horrible.
Yeah, it really has.
So, and this year, we did not have a January thaw. I talked to my son Brian this morning. He's a new newscaster for the Moose radio station in Boonville.
Cool. Yeah.
And he keeps a pretty close eye on the weather. And he told me that in January, Jackson Hill had 97.3 inches of snow in the month of January.
In January.
Jackson Hill got a couple of those storms that Rome got and
a lot of
Westernville, lake effect. Boonville, the village, we really didn't get those storms that hard.
Okay.
So there's quite a difference there. So January was 97.3, and in February so far this year, well, and now we're to the last day, we've had 70 inches of snow.
That's just incredible.
So, and a total for the season of 223 inches of
pretty
snow.
impressive.
It is impressive.
Yeah.
And no thaw. So
and
it's no wonder.
And the ground, it's funny, somebody sent us a picture that showed whether it was New Year's Eve or I believe it was New Year's Eve, showed their backyard on New Year's Eve.
Right.
Completely great. You saw the lawn.
Yes.
And then like a few days later, you just saw feet of snow.
Right.
I mean, it was really, what a winter this has
when
been.
When I was growing up in the earlier 60s, I can remember 2 green Christmases in a row.
Yeah.
And everybody, that really was quite a something to have a green Christmas.
Yeah. Now it's become the norm.
But now it's the norm. So if like 1971 was one of the worst winters ever. We had over 300 inches of snow. I think 309 inches of snow that winter.
Yeah.
In December of 1970, we had 77 inches of snow in Boonville.
Wow.
And then January was mild January. We only had 50 inches.
How you keep all of this in your head, I will never know. And you really are a historian. You have so much knowledge and history of that, especially of that area.
Well, and railroad history.
Yeah.
And the carnival.
And if you can, let's end with Billy Carter. Billy Carter came up. So we've heard the rumors that he was actually. Here's what I heard. He came up. He had been drinking pretty good. Stole a police car and ended up being taken to Utica because Utica was a Democratic city hall. They wanted to protect President Carter, another Democrat, and the whole story just kind of was squashed, and it never hit national news.
That's a very interesting story that you just told me, and I will have to talk to some people in Boonville.
I'd like to hear some confirmation.
Find out the facts on that.
Yeah.
1977-78 was a terrible winter. I think that was the most snow that we've ever had in Boonville. And Billy Carter did come to the snow festival. We featured, I was not living in Boonville at the time.
Okay, got it.
But we featured Billy's Beer, and that was the big thing. Billy had a big rally at the Hubbard House in downtown Boonville. And I think he and other people did have a sip of something.
Oh, he had a sip of a lot, I'm afraid.
Right, but that other story, I will have
check it out.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure it's true. Carl Trainer, we really appreciate your knowledge and all of your history, and you're definitely a gem for the people of the area and Boonville. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
You are for down here.
Well, thank you for that.
And all over.
Well, I'm not sure about that. People
you.
would argue with you about that, but thank you so much. Carl Trainer, quick break. We have news coming up, top of the hour, WIBX.
Mattress Express's closeout sale on brand new leftover inventory and floor models. Right now, buy a king or queen and get a free adjustable base. Take up to 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers and no credit check payment plans available as well.
The big Spring New York State RV Show is back at the State Fairgrounds February 27th through March 2nd. It's the ultimate RV shopping experience with over 400 models and 100 different brands to choose from. And with 9 dealers competing for your business, it's the place to buy. Whether you're looking for a travel trailer, motorhome, or fifth wheel, you'll find it at the Spring New York State RV Show. Get your tickets at nysrvshow.com. Sponsored by the New York State RV Dealers Association of Syracuse.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Hi, I'm Anthony Constantino, running for Congress in the upcoming special election to succeed Elise Stefanik, and I'm sounding the alarm about the escalating prison violence in New York State. Due to the HALT Act, our corrections officers no longer have tools to discipline prison violence. As a result, violence is surging and everyone is suffering. Violence on both guards and inmates is up 300% and growing. Call your elected representatives and demand they protect our officers by repealing the HALT Act immediately. I'm Anthony Constantino, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Constantino for Congress.
Hey, the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills is accepting new patients right now as we speak. I'm not sure as we speak, but you could try the phone number, 315-507-4751 for the Falcon Clinic. And I do have to say, there are just so many people when you talk to them and they're trying to get to the bottom of whatever it is that they're having issues with medically. And they see a doctor, maybe the doctor's retired, they see a new doctor, they're not necessarily happy. They're trying to get to the bottom of what's causing what I'm feeling like right now. And I got to say, the Falcon Clinic is a great option. Very thorough and just a great insight. Dr. Shemaleski, now Dr. Zielinski at the Falcon Clinic. Call them today. They're accepting new patients right now. 315-507-4751. You don't need a referral from your current doctor, and you just call them, 315-507-4751, the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. You can check them online as well, Dr. Shemaleski and Dr. Zielinski. All right, we have a full news and forecast, all that stuff coming up. Remember, I was just looking at the number of seats available for tomorrow night at the Adirondack Bank Center. Comets are home tonight. Pioneers tomorrow night play Chatham University in the UCHC playoff game. It's the semifinals. If they win tomorrow night, the Pioneers, they play at home for the championship at the Adirondack Bank Center next Saturday. But it would be big to fill that odd tomorrow night, and there are a lot of seats left. And you can buy them at empiretix.com, I believe it is, wherever you get your Comets tickets, or at the box office at the Adirondack Bank Center. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m., let's fill the odd as the Pioneers take on Chatham to move one step closer to the NCAA tournament and hopefully a championship in the UCHC. News is coming up next.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
A new era. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. Ukraine's President Zelensky will be back at the White House this morning for the first time since President Trump's return to office. They're expected to sign an agreement to share Ukraine's natural resources.
The meeting between President Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky would mark a shift in the two leaders' relationship after a tense few weeks. The president notably calling Zelensky a dictator without elections. The framework would give the U.S. access to the revenues from Ukraine's vast reserves of minerals. Ukraine's resources include titanium, lithium, and nickel. The president says the minerals deal is beneficial for Ukraine and the American people, whom in his view will now be compensated for the military and financial aid the U.S. has given Ukraine.
Fox's Madeline Rivera in D.C. President Zelensky has said he wants security guarantees from the U.S. as part of a deal. After his meeting with President Trump yesterday, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer tells Fox the administrations are discussing more cooperation,
particularly on things like tech and AI.
And new cancer-fighting technology.
This idea of a moonshot, of whether together we could go for something what might bring about a cancer cure.
China's government accuses the Trump administration of blackmail with its new tariffs on Chinese imports.
The president says the tariff increase is in response to a continued flow of fentanyl from China into the United States. It's on top of a 10% duty levied on February the 4th. China's foreign ministry maintains that Washington is using the fentanyl crisis as an excuse to put tariff pressure on the country. Secretary of State Marco Rubio telling Fox News China may be deliberately flooding America with fentanyl. Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
A federal judge in San Francisco says Trump administration memos to federal agencies ordering mass firings are likely illegal and should be rescinded, but Judge William Alsup says he does not have the power to stop federal agencies from independently firing people. America's listening to Fox News.
It's time to throw your overpriced big wireless contract overboard with a qualifying plan. You can choose an iPhone 14 or a Samsung Galaxy for $0. Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team will make the switch in as little as 10 minutes. No hassle, no gimmicks, just honest-to-goodness wireless price right. Dial pound 250, you say the keywords Pure Talk, claim your new iPhone or Galaxy with a qualifying purchase from Pure Talk, which is America's wireless company. Visit puretalk.com for details.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
There's really nothing new in a release of files on the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein promised by Attorney General Pam Bondi.
The couple hundred pages included much of what we've been seeing before, like flight logs, a contact book, and a redacted masseuse list, believed to refer to Epstein's potential victims in the case. Lawmakers like Representative Anna Paulina Luna expressing disappointment, posting on X, quote, "This is not what we or the American people asked for, and a complete disappointment." AG Bondi also accusing the FBI field office in New York of withholding files after learning from a source that there are thousands of more pages.
Fox's Chanley Painter. Today is the deadline for schools and universities to eliminate diversity initiatives or risk losing federal funding.
Today's deadline stems from the expansion of President Trump's executive order on diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. A letter sent on February 14th from Craig Traynor, the acting assistant secretary for civil rights at the Department of Education, cites a 2023 decision by the Supreme Court and directs learning institutions to stop using, quote, racial preferences in admissions, financial aid, and other areas. Funding at risk includes Title IX, support for special needs, and free or reduced lunches, to name a few. Legal challenges to the directive have already been filed, saying Trump's executive order violates the First and Fifth Amendments. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
The former fire chief in Los Angeles wants her job back.
Kristen Crowley is appealing her termination to the Los Angeles City Council. She was fired by L.A. Mayor Karen Bass over her handling of the recent wildfires that devastated the city. Under the city charter, Crowley would need the support of 10 of the council's 15 members. At least 2 of the members have criticized her firing and encouraged her to appeal the decision. Chris DeMeo, Fox News.
New York's Governor Kathy Hochul says there's a deal to end corrections officer strikes at state prisons that started last week. Chris Foster, Fox News.
Good morning. It is 25 degrees under sunny skies in Utica. Your WIBX news time is 8:05. Your full weather forecast is coming up next. I'm Megan Stone. 3 men in New Hartford were arrested on felony drug charges, and authorities say they have shut down a drug-dealing hub. According to New Hartford police, authorities, including the Patrol and Criminal Investigation Divisions, conducted a search of an Oakdale Avenue home that was suspected of drug activity. Police say they uncovered a quantity of crack cocaine as well as drug packaging materials. Authorities arrested 52-year-old Todd Williams, 42-year-old Jasmine Davis, and 48-year-old Desmond Washington, and charged them with multiple felony drug counts. Williams, Davis, and Washington were taken to Oneida County Correctional, where they were held pending arraignment. Rome police are asking the public to help them locate their most wanted person of the week. The Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers are looking for 63-year-old Paul Manzi, who was last known to be living in the city of Syracuse. Manzi is wanted on grand larceny charges and arrest warrant that stems from a September incident. Manzi is described as a white man who is 5'7" and 165 pounds. He has brown hair and hazel eyes. Anyone with information on his current whereabouts is asked to call Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers at 866-730-8477 or leave an anonymous tip via the P3 Tips mobile app. A tentative deal has been reached to end strikes at prisons across the state, including 4 in western New York. Governor Kathy Hochul said that the consent award addressed many of the concerns raised by correction officers, puts stocks back on the path to safe operations, respects the rights of incarcerated individuals, and prevents future unsanctioned work stoppages. The strike began on February 17th at the Collins Correctional Facility. And the first of 2 free snowmobiling weekends in New York starts today. Now through March 2nd, New York is waiving the registration fees for out-of-state snowmobilers to encourage people to visit and check out the state's over 10,000 miles of trails. Participants must operate a snowmobile that is registered in their home state or province and carry insurance. The second free snowmobiling weekend is March 7th through the 9th. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. Your news time is 8:07, 25 degrees in Utica. Here is your full weather forecast.
Winter weather advisory with a clipper coming in later kicks in, and that's going to be for northern Oneida County and points north. Get up into the North Country, up on the Tug Hill Plateau and the Adirondacks. Could be 3 to 6 inches of snow. Here locally, snow showers scattered around, especially later today into this evening. Could be an inch or two in and around the area. We'll get some mixing with rain tonight, which should hold down on the totals. Rain and snow showers tomorrow becoming all snow, maybe a light accumulation. I'm Ray Stanczyk at the Weather Channel, WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Cloudy skies and 25 degrees right now at WIBX.
In sports, on-field workouts are underway at the 2025 NFL Combine in Indianapolis. Defensive linemen and linebackers took the field at Lucas Oil Stadium to participate in events such as the 40-yard dash, vertical jump, and broad jump. UCLA linebacker Kane Medrano clocked the fastest 40-yard dash of the day at 4.46 seconds. The linebackers and defensive linemen have bench press remaining on Friday, while defensive backs and tight ends will take the field for their workouts. The NFL has set a salary cap for the upcoming season. League spokesperson Brian McCarthy announced Thursday that the 2025 salary cap has been set at a record $279.2 million per team. That's an increase of $23.8 million from last year's salary cap. The salary cap is calculated annually based on a collectively bargained formula tied to league revenues. The potential first overall pick in the NFL draft is dodging surgery. ESPN reported Thursday that doctors have advised Abdul Carter against undergoing foot surgery. The defensive end is dealing with a stress reaction on his right foot and isn't participating in the NFL scouting combine as a result. The Chiefs, they're not planning on allowing arguably one of the best defensive linemen in the NFL to hit the free agent market this offseason. ESPN is reporting that Kansas City has informed Pro Bowl guard Trey Smith that they will use the franchise tag on him. He'll return to the team on a one-year deal worth roughly $23.4 million. In other team news, star tight end Travis Kelce confirmed a previous report that he plans to return for the 2025 season. And taking a look at the Grapefruit League, the Yankees continue their spring with a trip to Clearwater that ended in a tie 7-7 against the Philadelphia Phillies. The Bronx Bombers brought their big bats to the game. New York is 2-3 and will continue the Grapefruit League play when it hosts Toronto Bay in Tampa. And the Mets snapped their spring skid with a 5-0 win over the Houston Astros. They're now 2-4 and will host the Washington Nationals this afternoon. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. Your news time is 8:09. I'm Megan Stone.
Okay, coming up, a lot to get to here this morning. And we also, before we get out of here, I've got a rock and roll music historian. We're going down the historian road, it seems, this morning with Mr. Trainer in studio. But this is an anniversary of sorts for one of the great rock and roll duos, the Everly Brothers. We'll get to that later on in the hour. County Executive Anthony Piceni coming up in just a second as well. We'll do that next to WIBX.
It's time to stop letting road conditions dictate your journey. Nokian Tire's all-weather tires are versatile enough for summer heat, spring rain, and winter snow, allowing you to forget the forecast, so you can focus on the road ahead, not the road below. Forget the forecast with a year-round tire approved for winter use. Find Nokian Tire's all-weather tires at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, with locations in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Learn more at tallmanstire.com.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry's starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter code TOWNSQUARE at checkout. That's harrys.com, code TOWNSQUARE. Enjoy!
Registration for America's Greatest Heart Run and Walk is now open, and they're looking to break fundraising and race records. The event returns to Utica University on March 8th, so sign up now for the 18-mile, 10-mile, or 3-mile race at uticaheartrunwalk.org. Join the American Heart Association's mission in raising money to improve and promote heart health in the Mohawk Valley. This year's goal is to raise $1 million. Sign up to race or donate now at uticaheartrunwalk.org.
Hey, everybody in upstate New York. I don't know where in upstate New York, but thanks for listening to the Keeler Show. Never met this man. Don't know why I'm telling everybody to listen, but thank you very much. By the way, this is Larry David from Curb Your Enthusiasm. I have nothing else really to say to you, but I thank you for listening to me tell you to listen to this man, Bill Keeler, on WIBX.
This is Keeler in the Morning. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Hey, right now you can save on installation of your siding at New York Sash. 50% off siding installation. And they have all sorts of different styles and types. Stuff that just will last forever. And everything is eligible. Special financing is available. Call New York Sash today and ask about 50% off siding installation. And the end of that sale is just around the corner. Call New York Sash. Visit them on Abruscity Boulevard in Whitesboro, or go to their website at newyorksash.com. All right, a couple things. Mike on the line right now has a comedy event for veterans this weekend. Mike, plug away. What do you have?
Hey, so tonight I'm going to be at the Whitesboro American Legion. I do all veterans comedy show fundraisers all across the country. It's a great show, 90 minutes, stand-up, parodies. I play my guitar, I sing parodies, I do a couple of original songs, and I end the show with a song I wrote for veterans and troops called Superheroes. So $10 of every ticket is going right to the American Legion. It's the one on Main Street there, right on the corner.
Right.
Actually, you take that right-hand turn, you guys go out to WIBX Studios. And it's a hilarious show. So if you get bored tonight, don't snap into a Slim Jim. Buy tickets to my show.
All right.
And the way they can get them is real simple, whitesborocomedy.eventbrite.com. And I really appreciate the plug, Bill. Thanks so much.
How much are tickets, by the way?
Tickets are $25 in advance,
Okay.
40 at the door, and people will have a great show tonight. I'll put on a great show for
All right, Mike. Thanks. Good luck.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. Take care.
All right, Lucia, I got to squeeze you in here. We have the county executive, and it's big breaking news and all of that. So, good morning. Good morning. Are you there, Luce?
Bill, I'm here.
I got you. I have you. I was getting worried for a second.
I don't want to interfere.
No, you're fine. What's going on this morning? Good morning, Lucia.
Looking for a trainer. So I came here and I'm walking. I'm on the road again.
You're out. You're moving.
I'm on the road again without a car. So.
Okay, just don't get hit by a car.
Oh, don't say that, Bill.
Okay, sorry.
Never.
All right, well, I don't want to distract you, Lucy. Call us when you're not distracted. That'll be the best way to do it. All right?
Distracted? I'm not distracted.
Oh, you're not? Oh, good. What are we calling about? What are we calling about this morning, Lucia?
I would not do that to you. What
No.
did you say?
No, it's not you. It's not me. It's I'm worried about you. So, Davey, check with her because I have a bad line on her. She's breaking up. I think she's out traveling, and I'm losing her. In studio, we found, you lose one, you find another. County Executive Anthony Pacini, good morning.
Good morning. It's good to be here.
And so this having Carl Trainer talk about, is this really that old-fashioned winter we're all saying it is? And his answer is, yeah, it is.
It is. When you have over 200 inches in 2 months.
It's a lot of snow.
In really 2 months. You really can't. I mean, you could look at December, and I don't know the totals, but you could look. But when you look
almost
at January,
almost nothing in December.
Nothing in December.
fact,
a little bit in November.
Most people, their lawns were showing on New Year's Eve and Christmas time.
Right.
So the January came, and man, did we get hit like we have not been hit in a long time.
And even different because it was just constant. You know, you never had. I mean, forget about the thaws. You didn't have that in January. It was just constant snow day after day in certain areas, and Rome in the north. The northern part of the county. Really, if you just take that swath of map and above, the thruway, if you will, and north
pounded.
Really unbelievable. I mean, and it's been a good week because we've seen a lot of this.
A lot of it melt away. I got to tell you, this was not easy. Can you imagine? I'm looking at a couple of roofs in my backyard that I had to take care of, and it was a pain in the neck to get that done. Can you imagine these giant barns and these outbuildings?
And we've been trying to work with our farmers and the ag community to try and help as best we can. A lot of animals have been destroyed by this that need to be disposed of. So we're working with them and figuring ways to help them with those costs. But as you look at all this, and that's where I was talking to someone last night about just the heavy winter and some of the criticism that some of the cities and towns and even the county on snow removal has been. It's just been constant. And the other thing is all of our departments are not the same size they were way back when, 30 years ago. They're just not. We've all downsized to different areas. And these drivers, these that are out there and plowing, I mean, we can't keep them out there 24 hours.
I feel
I know people get frustrated when roads are not cleared in certain ways, and I know that I was with the mayor yesterday, both mayors last night, and it's at an event talking about it. But I think all in all, everybody's done a reasonably good job.
I think
it's been very tough, and I know people will probably call my office and say, "Oh no, my road still wasn't plowed or whatever," but.
It is.
But I go back to the timing of this.
It just kept coming down. And we've talked about this for a couple of weeks, and that is whether it be the people who work on the highways that are out there plowing or city streets, whatever, or the private guys that are clearing out, so they have contracts. They've had quite a few years where there hasn't been a lot of work.
No.
And this year, that deal they cut everybody, they're upside down.
And we had to close offices one day because of it was partly the whiteouts and people all across the county coming to work, but the ability to clear our lots and have people be able to park. I mean, those were getting just, you've got so much to handle in a short amount of time. But, all of the DPW crews, ours and all the way down, tough winter for them. I mean, really, no one knows. You just don't know.
Do you think that this is, I should have asked Carl Trainer this, do you think that this is going to mean we're in for a beautiful spring and a beautiful summer?
Well, I would hope we'd get Carl back on the line.
I think we deserve it.
I think we deserve that.
Yeah.
We do. But I mean, hopefully with the the amount of water, we won't have any. I mean, first of all, we don't want any flooding in the spring, and that's always a concern.
This week has helped
when you have you have a heavy winter like we have. So taking that down. But then the other point is, this helps the growing season.
Yeah. I wanted to get into something we haven't heard a lot of, and Ray Meyer has an editorial that's on our side. I think maybe in the Sentinel and some other publications out there, talking about sounding the alarm. Republicans sounding the alarm on the job cuts that are coming. DFAS, Rome Lab, Postal Service, Social Security. I am a bit and he's saying there's no one that's standing up right now. I'm a bit worried about the way we as a public, how the Trump is a phenomenon like we've never seen anything before. Sure. So somebody else could do something and you're going to criticize the daylights out of it. Right. Trump does it, and all of a sudden, that Elon Musk is a pretty nice guy after all. But I worry the way we as a community, just general people, are referring to, wow, these people are wasteful and these are your neighbors you're talking about.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess, look, I have the utmost respect for Ray Meyer. I worked for him for a number of years and served with him and the like. So
he's always willing to step in.
He is, and he is. But I'll look at it from both points. I mean, I do think we are all stepping up. I don't think any of us are taking it lightly. I do think, however, this has been the problem here is what happened as a result of this pandemic, and I think it crossed, business lines as well as government lines.
Yeah.
But in our cases, on the local level, whether it's counties and cities and throughout this state, the remote work piece stopped.
Right.
And I think that's getting caught up in a little bit lost in translation of what's happening here with places like the lab. I met with the lab with Mayor Lanigan just a little over a week ago.
How do you do research from home?
But I mean, and the point is, I think people, they're valuable, they're workers.
Right.
They do need to be back in the office. And I've said this to some private businesses as well, and I believe that strongly, because we are in the public service business of whether it's, and look, what the Air Force Research Lab does is above and beyond my scope of things in terms of national security and all that. But I've been involved, as Ray was and others, and Joe Griffo and others over the years in saving those jobs.
Yeah.
So, the danger, though, has been when, and there is that perception when they're not in the office physically that, well, what are they doing? Well, look, people can work from home. I'm not begrudging that in any way. However, there is a problem with that if it's been used beyond the initial means of why it was done.
But I don't think are the only people that are losing their jobs people that are working
remotely?
No,
I don't think that's the case at all. Right. I do think I think
employers are afraid because it's so hard to get an employee now. The advantage has gone to the employee, and that's becoming a bit of a problem.
Right. To that point, though, I would look at, and I've had this, as I said, discussion with a couple others. Now I'll use one in particular that really didn't get a lot of play, the Bank of New York, which is in Oriskany in the Whitestown, Oneida County Business Park in Whitestown, the old airport business park that we used to call, which we own a great deal of property, and Senator Griffo and I and the Assemblywoman met with them, and we're like, because they closed up, they went to remote.
Yeah,
there was 600 jobs that are Now, are the jobs gone? Some of them are. Some of them moved south. Some of them went somewhere else and went remote.
But they could be anywhere.
But the problem, but that's a problem because that takes away from, the businesses that, can do breakfasts, lunches, dinners, and other things because you're taking people out of the community and not in the mainstream of socialization of all that. So when I look at, DFAS, and I do look at that does beg the question, if all of these
I think a lot of those
people are
working remotely,
then we can close this place down. And that's the problem. And I think that's what Ray, is pointing at. I don't see that happening, immediately. I don't see that happening certainly with Rome Lab. That is just an essential piece. But I do think that that the Biden administration just dragged way too long on that process and needed to do more in getting people back in the office. I don't like, it's not about saying people need to get back to work. They've been working.
Yeah.
They need to get back in the office and do that. And,
well, you kind of wonder, though, are you working and doing your laundry?
Well, but that, I mean, look, you've done this before. And I remember, obviously, I don't want to remember COVID, but
that's not.
I had COVID 5 times and when I was home and when you had to stay out of that.
Yeah, you're the record. I think hold the record.
Close. I think I'm pretty close on that. And, and working from home at that point, even when, because after, those days you're feeling better and whatever. It does.
You're beaten up.
I couldn't do it. I was like going batty just being in there and not being able to be out and do things and be in the office and
I guess for us, all of us never, I'm not sure where Megan was at the time, but for me and Davey and Andrew, and when Jeff was here, we never really worked from home. Everything was, we were the only ones that were working in the studio.
Well, we
that was refreshing,
but we didn't,
to be honest, to be able to get out.
My staff, and I talk about this often.
I know you were
out. 7 days a week in the office, 7 days, not just the 5.
Yeah, it was crazy.
7 days and for a long period. And even after the governor had, wanted us to cut at that time, just have 50% of the workforce in, I brought everybody back because we needed to do things. But I also had a problem with, having people at home that weren't doing anything at that point. So we put them to work on a variety of projects just to keep people, active. And I thought that was important too. So, this federal thing is twofold, and I think you got to look at it from both sides before you pass judgment on they're cutting all these jobs.
And I do wonder which unfortunately is happening. How much of that happens here remains to be seen. If you're living in Baltimore or DC, they're hit pretty hard.
And I know they've talked. I mean, they talked about daycare being an issue. Well, it's an issue for everybody, and there are shortages, and there are things we have to do, but that can't be the only reason why, and we still get people that interview with us on a daily basis on our vacancies that can I work from home.
I had a very interesting conversation with somebody that was looking to hire, and it's a professional position.
Mm-hmm.
And what they have said is the younger generation, the ones who've just gotten out of college, and Megan, we're not talking about you. You're much older.
Thanks.
Sorry. I
don't know about
that. It's like no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not doing not. If that's it, I'm going to go somewhere else. I'm not interested. That they're being turned down in interviews more often than they're turning someone down, and it's gotten to the point where they're becoming desperate to find people.
But it's between, we have a shortage of attorneys.
Yeah.
And we had a couple candidates over the last couple of weeks that we thought we had.
Oh, you have a shortage of attorneys.
We have a shortage of attorneys in county government. How about the DA? The DA is down, I think.
Yeah.
7 or 8 or 8 positions, if not more.
And by the way, the DA's office has been busy.
Slammed,
crazy busy.
The public defenders are up. We're down, I think 6 or 8 there. In our county attorney's office, we're down 4, I think, and between there and social services. So I mean, those numbers are all over.
Yeah.
When we interview and and whether they're right out of law school or even some of that have been practicing for a while, it's can I work from home? And it's like, we're county government. We need to need to be here, and whether it's family court, whether it's contracts, whether it's things that have to be done. But so we thought we had a couple candidates. They took actually less money in a private firm to work at home.
That's crazy.
And it's crazy.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that on paralegals. We're seeing that on
And
accounting people, which we say, no, you can't take
Yeah.
our information
Right.
into your home and do that work.
Right. And the number of people who are hiring today has become part of that problem. And maybe that's a big part of why we can't find people, because they've decided they can afford to say, I just won't take the job.
Right.
I don't ever remember growing up like that.
I don't either.
It was you were carrying 4 or 5 jobs at a time. That's what you had to do.
I talk about this often in my family. I never remember my father staying home sick.
Yeah.
And he worked construction. He drove truck. He was with different the city at one time. And I never remember him saying that.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way.
It was the different, different piece,
generation.
And they had, and everybody has sick time and things that you can use, but it still just becomes different. And, unfortunately, I do think, the pandemic spoiled a lot of that and took us in a different direction. And hopefully, we can come back around to it.
County Executive, thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's Friday.
Have a great weekend. It's Friday. Have
Friday.
a great weekend.
Enjoy the weekend.
As you said, Megan, no snow.
No snow.
A couple inches, they said later. But
Sunday will be cold.
Yeah, 13 degrees.
13.
Enjoy the melting tomorrow. Rain and 40 degrees. Not bad. I'll take that. So
Wear shorts.
Thank you. I might be doing that. Thank you. County Executive Anthony Pacini. Coming right back. Megan has an update on news coming up next.
Are you sick of being just a number or doing a mindless job? Become a craftsman in a trade. Become an IBEW electrician. The IBEW and the Electrician Training Alliance will give you all the tools necessary at their state-of-the-art training facility. Earn as you learn. Paid training while you get your certification. What are you waiting for? Become an IBEW Local 43 electrician. Call or go online today to learn more. Find your career at IBEW and let the Electrician Training Alliance light up your future.
The big Spring New York State RV Show is back at the State Fairgrounds February 27th through March 2nd. It's the ultimate RV shopping experience with over 400 models and 100 different brands to choose from. And with 9 dealers competing for your business, it's the place to buy. Whether you're looking for a travel trailer, motorhome, or fifth wheel, you'll find it at the Spring New York State RV Show. Get your tickets at nysrvshow.com. Sponsored by the New York State RV Dealers Association of Syracuse.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container, because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Good morning. It is 24 degrees, and your WIBX news time is 8:34. Your full weather forecast is coming up next. I'm Megan Stone. 3 men in New Hartford were arrested on felony drug charges, and authorities say they have shut down a drug-dealing hub. According to New Hartford police, authorities, including the Patrol and Criminal Investigation Divisions, conducted a search of an Oakdale Avenue home that was suspected of drug activity. Police say they uncovered a quantity of crack cocaine as well as drug packaging materials. Authorities arrested 52-year-old Todd Williams, 42-year-old Jasmine Davis, and 48-year-old Desmond Washington and charged them with multiple felony drug counts. Williams, Davis, and Washington were taken to Oneida County Correctional, where they were held pending arraignment. The long-awaited Jeffrey Epstein documents released by the DOJ Thursday provide little new information. About 200 pages in the document dump contain flight logs and contact lists that include hundreds of associates, most already made public. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi said in a letter to FBI Director Kash Patel Thursday that she has received only 200 pages of documents. She's demanding the full and complete Epstein files are delivered to her office by 8 a.m. Epstein hanged himself in jail in 2019 after being charged with sex trafficking of minors in Florida and New York. ICE Buffalo has announced the arrest of a Mexican national convicted of rape in 2012. Officials say 44-year-old Alejandro Salazar was detained upon his release from Clinton Correctional Facility on February 21st. Salazar had been convicted of first-degree rape over 12 years ago and was sentenced to 15 years in prison. He's currently being held at Buffalo Federal Detention Facility in Batavia. And the Muslim holy month of Ramadan begins this evening at sunset. Ramadan marks the 9th month of the Islamic calendar and is the month that is believed the Prophet Muhammad was given the Quran, Islam's holy book. Practices during Ramadan include daily fasting from sunrise to sunset, acts of charity, and reading the Quran. Ramadan runs through March 29th. It is 24 degrees under sunny skies in Utica. Your Weather Center forecast is next.
Winter weather advisory with a clipper coming in later kicks in, and that's going to be for northern Oneida County and points north. Get up into the North Country, up on the Tug Hill Plateau and the Adirondacks. Could be 3 to 6 inches of snow. Here locally, snow showers scattered around, especially later today into this evening. Could be an inch or two in and around the area. We'll get some mixing with rain tonight, which should hold down on the totals. Rain and snow showers tomorrow becoming all snow, maybe a light accumulation. I'm Ray Stajic at the Weather Channel, WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
All right, right now we're at 25 degrees and clear skies right now. Looking pretty good out there. All right, on that peanut butter test, I have, I knew you sent me something on this. I just assumed the guy who was talking about brain health was a medical doctor.
Oh.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But he's not.
He's not.
And I think the peanut butter test is not as accurate as he made it seem.
Okay.
Just smell peanut butter. If you can't smell it, you're in trouble. Get to your doctor. That's what he told us yesterday. I have some conflicting information on that. We'll get to coming right up. All right? Stand by. Davey, you couldn't smell the peanut butter, could you? It's terrible. And this morning, Davey was lashing out at people. He yelled at someone on the phone.
I smelled the peanut butter.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Oh, I've got the story completely wrong. We'll come right back at WIBX.
At Steve Ponte Chevy in Herkimer, we'd like to thank our first responders, active military, and veterans,
as well as healthcare employees and education employees.
Not only is Chevrolet offering $500 in savings towards the purchase of your new Chevy, but Steve Ponte Chevy is going to match that with an additional $500 for a total of $1,000 in savings as our thank you to you.
So together, let's drive and see why our customers always say it's so easy to do business with Steve Ponte Chevy on Route 28 in Herkimer.
Customer must qualify for educator, military, veterans, first responder, and healthcare discount. Must take delivery by February 28, 2025. See salesperson for details.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Hungry for something new? Discover Chef's Express, a bakery on a mission. Nestled in downtown Utica at 241 Genesee Street, they serve your favorite baked goods, mouth-watering breakfast sandwiches, savory lunches, and delicious desserts, plus catering options for your event. And every bite at Chef's Express helps people with disabilities in our community thrive. Stop in Monday through Friday or visit chefsexpressutica.com. That's Chef's Express. Great food with a greater purpose.
It's time to stop letting road conditions dictate your journey. Nokian Tires all-weather tires are versatile enough for summer heat, spring rain, and winter snow, allowing you to forget the forecast so you can focus on the road ahead, not the road below. Forget the forecast with a year-round tire approved for winter use. Find Nokian Tires all-weather tires at Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, with locations in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Learn more at tallmanstire.com.
BME Company Business Machines and Equipment has been delivering office solutions for businesses in upstate New York for over 30 years. Their success comes from finding the right document management strategies and software solutions for streamlining workflows. Simply put, BME provides fast, reliable service at the best value to keep your business running smoothly. Through BME's strategic partnership with Hummel's Office Plus, they distribute supplies for just about every machine in your office at a great price. BME welcomes the opportunity to serve your business, selling, leasing, and service in Canon and Kyocera devices, as well as FP mailing solutions. An important part of BME's culture is supporting the communities they're fortunate to work in, and BME recognizes that support is one reason for their success. The future of business in BME's area is encouraging, and the company is grateful to be a part of that growth. Call BME Company at 315-574-8200 or visit BMEcompany.com. BME Company Office Solutions. Made simple.
Keeler in the Morning invites you to connect with us through telephonic communication at 315-736-0186 or use the Call Us button on the WIBX 950 app. For additional contact methodologies, please refer to WIBX950.com.
This is Keeler in the Morning, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
I don't know if you've heard the whole Gene Hackman thing, the latest. I'll give you where we are, the latest, because new stuff has been coming out overnight. But this was the 911 call that came down.
Son of 911, what is it? It's the emergency.
I think we just found one deceased person inside a house. Please send somebody really quick. I'm the caretaker for the subdivision. I'm going to bring him up here.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me speak with the paramedics.
Thank you. Damn.
Is the patient a male or a female?
A female and a male, probably. I don't know, sir. Just send somebody up here real quick.
Are they awake?
I have no idea.
Are they breathing?
I have no idea. I'm not inside the house. It's locked. I can't go in. But I see them. She's laying down on a floor from the window.
Do they appear to be awake or alert?
No.
Are they moving at all?
No, dude, they're not moving. Just send somebody up here really quick.
It is.
You don't have the actual address of the house of where this person lives?
I have no idea. There's no address. There's a reason why for that.
Okay.
It's interesting how people get impatient on a 911 call, and they're like, come on, just get somebody, will you? Why are you talking to me? The reality is they've already alerted authorities. They're just trying to get as much information out of you as they can.
Yeah.
But people are like, stop asking me these questions.
Well,
Shouldn't you be sending an ambulance or whatever?
Yeah, and you could tell from the guy the state of the bodies. He was disturbed by
mummified is what the officials are now saying. Mummified.
Yeah, but Bill, you brought up a good point. That why didn't his family check in on him if they had been gone for that long? And this man
They're saying
it was
probably
so famous.
2 to 3 weeks, and his daughter did an interview. We got this from Willie Waffle this morning. His daughter did an interview in England where one of the British newspapers, she said, I'm very close to my dad, but we hadn't seen him for a couple of months. Hadn't talked to him for a couple of months. Well, where's that going?
Yeah, I talk to my parents every single day.
Gene Hackman's longtime friend says his wife had him on a really strict diet. And if you see the photos of him like a year ago, you wouldn't even recognize him. And I also did not realize he was 95 years old.
Yeah.
That's something. We mentioned the peanut butter sniff test. And I do think that the doctor may have overstepped a little bit. They're saying that it should be performed with it. You just don't go smell peanut butter. Although he did say if you can't smell it, you're in trouble.
So after everybody ran to their pantries yesterday, opened their bar of Jiffy or Skip, and
I did it.
We did it.
It is a clinician really needs to do this, and it's done in different increments. People with early Alzheimer's disease have a harder time smelling peanut butter out of their left nostril than their right. So there's a lot more to this. And there are limitations to it as well. The test results were inconclusive due to a small sample size. And smell tests are usually nonspecific and can be affected by other factors. Yeah, she did it when she had a cold. She couldn't smell anything.
Or COVID.
She had just had COVID and couldn't smell. And then one more. This kind of fits into the music world we're going to step into. 75. Rick Springfield, Jesse's girl. He is now 75 years old.
Get out.
He's found a new way to treat his depression, and he is now microdosing LSD. He says it's better than anything else he's taken. I'm not averse to anything that helps me be happier and a better person. Here he is performing right after taking the microdose, performing one of his big hits.
Jesse's got himself a girl and I want to make her mine. And she's watching him with those eyes.
Yeah, I don't know if it's affecting him.
Okay.
Jesse's girl.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, the light up, glow in the dark posters are starting to hum with energy.
I do not think it's affecting him at all, to be honest with you. Holy cow.
Sounds amazing.
We're on this is a 65-year, believe it or not, anniversary of the Everly Brothers. If you remember, this is one of my favorite Everly Brothers tunes. 65 years ago, they signed a big deal. Scott G. Shea is a music historian and did his latest article for Strange Brew on the Everly Brothers as they celebrate their 65th anniversary. He's on the line with us right now. Scott, good morning. Thank you so much for coming on. A lot of people, the Everly Brothers were huge.
They sure were, and they got $1 million deal out of it, so that's pretty good.
So that's a really interesting time in music. So they started, though, they didn't start with Warner Brothers.
No, they were on Cadence Records out of New York City, and that's where all their hits were. That's where Bye Bye Love and Wake Up Little Susie and All I Have to Do Is Dream and so many others. That's where they forged their career and their sound. So, Warner Brothers came calling when their contract was up, and Cadence couldn't even really compete with that.
Yeah. That happened a lot, right? Sun Records has that, and there are a lot of those stories very similar to that. But after they went to Warner Brothers, the hits weren't rolling like they were they?
Well, they did initially for the first couple of years. They kept it going, but, they started to struggle around 1962, getting them on the charts, and then this little thing called the British Invasion happened with the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, and that just really kind of iced them and a lot of their contemporaries out.
Yeah. So and then it just became at one point, I think later in the probably was the early '80s, the Everly Brothers were doing country music.
Yeah, they never really fully went in on country music, but they did a couple of country themed albums, and their sound was very country. They're influenced by their father. They grew up mostly in Iowa and a little bit in high school in Tennessee, but they had Kentucky roots, and their father Ike was a radio show host and a noted country picker who played with Merle Travis and Chet Atkins and Joe Mathis, and really helped them develop that open G tuning sound that came with the Everly Brothers records.
So I'm assuming that $1 million, that is such an incredible time in rock and roll because it was the beginning of it all. And I'm assuming that $1 million deal was a pretty big deal for them.
Well, when you think of it, Elvis Presley, who was like the star, RCA bought out his Sun contract 4 years earlier for $35,000. So, in 4 years we go from $35,000 for the biggest act to $1 million for the biggest upcoming act. And I think the big labels were starting to realize the profitability of rock and roll.
How long do they go? Did the Everly Brothers perform? How long did they continue performing? I know they kind of. It was more. I think the country thing was more country radio stations, and maybe the record company is like, well, let's pitch this to a country station. It's kind of that '50s throwback, and that was their stint in country. But how long did they continue to perform?
Well, their first run at it was from 56 to 73, and then they split up for 10 years, and then they were together from about 1983 really to about 2006, somewhere around that. They did their last performance in England after they toured with Simon and Garfunkel on the Old Friends tour back in 2003, 2004. And that's really after that, they kind of called it a day. And then Don died in 2014, and then Phil died a couple of years ago. Or Don died a couple of years ago.
Yeah, one of the other. I think I read that. And then, I just recently was a part of a story on the Today Show on NBC regarding music royalties. Have you followed any of this? There's a movement where artists are trying to push Congress to change the way radio gets to play music. Have you seen this?
I have not. No, that's a new one on me.
So it was at it was a Boys to Men that were up on Capitol Hill the other day and brought a petition. There were 200 artists that had signed the petition. And, for all of these years, the radio has pays their ASCAP and BMI rights and CSAC you're paying to the publisher. And then the artists always make their money off selling music and performing live.
Right.
Well, the dynamic has changed. So now they want radio stations to pay per play, very much like they do with streaming. And, still, though, when if you've interviewed artists, and I know you have, one of the things that's so in common, that almost every artist will say they knew they had made it when they were driving down the road and they heard their song on the radio.
Yeah, definitely. I know Roger McGuinn of the Byrds always talks about that with Mr. Tambourine Man. But I think to me that's a sign that as a group like Boys to Men, as the further away they get from their hit making days, the less their songs get played on the radio.
Right.
At least terrestrial radio, maybe satellite radio and streaming is a different story, but. They're probably not getting it played as much, that royalty money's probably getting lower and lower and lower, and they probably want to increase it. I don't blame them for trying. I don't know if they're going to succeed.
I don't know either. It would completely, this has been the business model since the beginning of...
forever.
Forever, yeah.
So maybe it needs some updating. I don't know.
I have somebody asking. I think radio would say no updating. We don't like that.
Yeah, probably.
I have somebody asking your knowledge on. Have you seen? They're asking two movie questions. Number one, it's playing in IMAX. Have you seen the Led Zeppelin movie, Making or Becoming Led Zeppelin? And then
I have not, but I want to go see it.
Yeah, that looks like it's really, really good. And then, what about the Bob Dylan movie, the
Complete Unknown?
Chalamet, Complete Unknown, Oscar weekend? What are your thoughts on that?
I did see it. I enjoyed that movie very much. It was, I think, maybe one of the best biopics I've seen. That was pretty accurate. There were some super Hollywoodized moments there of Bob's career. They kind of crammed a lot of things into a couple scenes, but. I thought for the most part, the woman who played Joan Baez, while she didn't really look like her or sound like her when she sings, she did an incredible spot-on impression of her voice when she talks. She sounded just like Joan Baez.
Yeah.
And the guy who played Dylan did a magnificent job. It was, and Johnny Cash, and it was just, I thought it was very, very well made. I came away, I'm really skeptical with biopics. Most of them are garbage, in my opinion, not even close to the true story. But that one got it. That one, if they were made with that much care, the biopics would have a better reputation.
Yeah, that much care, you wouldn't have had Tom Hanks playing Colonel Parker the way that he did, or maybe you would have. I don't know.
Or the Buddy Holly story.
Or the Buddy Holly story, right. So, and then I do have to say the Chalamet, who is up for an Oscar this weekend, who played Bob Dylan, that story is incredible, too. The movie ends up getting delayed. He learns the music, learns how to play guitar, learns how to sing like Dylan, learns how to play the harmonica, and, man, he sounded awesome in that movie.
That is a studious young man. He got some extra time, and he took full advantage of it, and he did a knockout job. And I even like right down to replicating Gertie's Folk City. They did such a magnificent job.
Yeah, it was really good. All right. How can people follow your stuff and read what you're writing?
They can go to my website, scottsheaauthor.com. The Shea is spelled S-H-E-A. You can, the link to buy my Mama's and Papa's biography is there, all my articles and links to social media.
Great stuff. Scott, let's do it again. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Bill. Thanks.
All right. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Quick break, and we'll wrap it up here and head into the weekend. Coming up.
Now, you know that no one else in New York State has all the brands under one roof that Mattress Express has. Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Sealy, Purple, Puffy, the Smart Bed by Instant Comfort, Posh & Lavish, Therapeutic, and the largest selection of flex head beds in New York State. But when these companies come out with new models, we get left with brand new inventory of the old model and floor models that we have to sell off as clearance, and that's where you save. These come with the full manufacturer's warranty, many of them still in the original packaging, brand new stuff. Right now, come into Mattress Express, pick a king or queen clearance model and even some new models and get a free adjustable base. Save over what you would have paid originally and get a free adjustable base. Take up to 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers, and we have no credit check payment plans. Go to mattressexpressny.com for locations. Call 1-800-NEW-BEDS.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right. Megan, you're going to be in big trouble because Lance and Lee had questions. Am I correct in saying I'm going to 5950?
5950?
Yeah. Is that right, or am I still at 5849?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. I'm wondering, when do I stop talking and we go
until
home?
the very end. Okay. Sorry. You needed to reset me.
Okay, so 5950 is my...
Yes, that is your out cue. You take it all the way to the end.
We're not quite to the point where we're communicating, Davey. I mean,
I can't read minds, and he can't read mine.
Takes well, I wasn't reading. But I'm with you. Okay, I got it. We now know when we're exiting. A bunch of comments. I'm saying you're in trouble because you didn't ask Lance's question. Lance and Lee always goes to you guys for the questions, so you'll get there with that. Believe me. What was his question for Pacini?
So he said the councilman stated that his county taxes went up 50%, using that to justify the Utica taxes going up roughly 25% in 2 years. And he wanted to know if that was an accurate statement and why the county taxes also has risen at such a rate on his point. And it sounds like someone is trying to deflect to me. And he also wanted to say Mr. Pacini impressed him today, and he wanted to thank him for doing what's necessary to keep the county taxes steady.
Comments on YouTube. Aaron says, yes, this is a big deal with the working remotely. So I got to say, in radio, I love the fact that if I want to go visit my son, I can do that, leave town, do the show, and you probably wouldn't even know it. When you're listening, you probably wouldn't realize. Think about Rush Limbaugh. All those years, we thought he was in New York City, and then we later found out that he'd been doing it from his home in Florida. Amazing what can be done working at home or working remotely. But it does, I see some of these jobs that people are asking to work remotely. Blows my mind. Like, how can you be a traveling nurse and work remotely? Now you kind of are working remotely. You're working at somebody else's house, but I spoke to somebody who interviewed someone who didn't want to do that. They wanted to do it over the computer. Why can't I just talk to them? They get an iPad. They do. Well, the idea of a home health nurse is
you physically coming in,
physically going into the home. So Aaron says yes. Being in the office means. Oh, she's saying being in the office means less work.
For some professions, probably, because you have to take account for the travel.
And meetings. I feel like meetings sometimes. There's just so many meetings.
Oh, gosh.
Which is why I've always had a policy, leave at 9. It's my leave at 9 policy.
There's like a cloud of smoke.
It works best for everybody, I think. The peanut butter thing, not accurate. Majority of jobs in the world can be done at home. These people on YouTube are all saying it's okay to be working remotely. So disagreeing.
I believe certain professions can absolutely be done from home, especially if it's all Zoom meetings, answering emails, and reading research.
The official coffee of this radio program, this will be a way for you to stay awake today, whether you're working at home or in the building. Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. The drive-thru, you're in, you get your stuff, and you're on your way. Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. Have a great weekend.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome.
W295EI.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
Let's make a deal. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. Ukraine's President Zelensky will be at the White House today, called a dictator by President Trump last week.
Did I say that? I can't believe I said that. Next question.
The president yesterday with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. He expects to sign a deal today for the United States to share Ukraine's natural resources as compensation for all the aid provided for the war against Russia.
One of the big questions today is what security guarantees, if any, are in this proposed agreement with Ukrainian President Volodymyr